What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, and the big day is nearly finally upon us, guys. We'll bring you the match preview a day early, as we usually do, because we are going out to Bilbao. I'm going out tomorrow. Sim's going out on Tuesday. God, the nerves starting to settle in. The nerves are starting to settle in, people. But this is literally Tottenham's biggest day since 2019. Tottenham against Manchester United in the Europa League final. I want to know how your nerves are holding up out there. We've got a nice long stream to get into today. But Sim, how are your nerves holding up?
Yeah, obviously, the day is getting closer and closer. I think the kind of reality of how big a loss or how big a win would be is just like starting to settle in for me. I think Palace's win yesterday gave me that little shot in the arm. Like, it's all happening.
Did you need the shot in the arm?
Yeah, 100%. Because you need everything you can get going into this game. And I think all the trophy droughts are being broken this year. And I think it's time for another one to be broken, I think, on Wednesday.
Yeah, I completely agree. But without further ado, let's bring Alice from Alice Talks Football on to get the Man United perspective on things. Alice, how are you doing, first and foremost, and how are your nerves holding up?
I am really, really nervous. I can't lie. We've obviously lost to Tottenham 3 times this season. I'm seeing obviously Newcastle won the Carabao, Palace won the FA Cup, and I think the Carabao meant that bit more to Newcastle, and the FA Cup meant that bit more to Palace. And I think while Man United desperately need this Europa League, I still think it's going to mean a bit more to Spurs because they need that trophy, whereas Man United just need it for the financial implications ahead of the transfer window having UCL football. So that worries me. Like, are Tottenham going to be more up for it? And it means that a little bit more. Are they going to, and Ange, the way he's sort of bigging it up to the players, that's making me quite nervous.
We spoke to you the last time we played you, I think it was January or early February, just before we beat you 1-0, and we were talking about the possibility of us facing each other in the Europa League final, which seemed like a distant possibility back then, and now here we are. You said that if we both got to a final, you'd back Man United to win it. Do you still feel the same?
I think, in my heart, I have to back Man United in a final. We lost, I think, 3 times to Man City last season and beat them in the FA Cup final. We lost to Newcastle in the league twice and we beat them in the Carabao Cup final. So I think in my heart, I always have to back Man United. But there is a voice in my head saying, I think Spurs are going to do it because us against Premier League opposition, I know you actually below us in the Premier League, but we really struggle against Premier League opposition and the physicality side of things. And with Højlund right now, it's like having 10 men. So I do have that fear in my head that Tottenham are going to do it. I think if Mickey van der Ven was out, my head would say Man United. But because you've got Romero and Mickey van der Ven, my head is a bit like Tottenham, but my heart has to back Man United in a final.
As a Man United fan, what do you take about the preparation going into this game? Because both managers have taken the opposite approach. Amorim played pretty much his first team on Friday night. Ange rested 11 players from that second leg in Bogo. Ange is basically pretty much saying, this is everything for Tottenham Hotspur. And Amorim is kind of like the opposite, saying, look, it doesn't matter. We've had a terrible season. And he's not putting too much pressure on his players going into this final. So as a Man United fan, what do you make out of that?
It's an interesting one because I think almost a mix of both approaches would be the best, whereas Ange is really far one way, Amorim's really far the other way, because I think Ange being you can be on the wall, you can be known as the Tottenham team that won this European trophy, it's going to get Tottenham more hype for it. Whereas almost Amorim's already given these Man United players an excuse, I feel like, if we don't win, in the sense of it doesn't matter if we... Amorim's saying things like, if we don't win, maybe it's better if we don't have UCL football. Maybe we can focus on the league. He's saying us winning the trophy, he doesn't like that. It could be used to cover up what we've done in the league, and the league form's more important. Whereas Ange is like, this is the trophy. And I think my one fear with that is Amorim giving the players an excuse? Is Tottenham going to be more up for it? But then I do also think that, I guess, mentality-wise, going into next season, it's maybe better to have somewhat that approach. But I think a mix of the two approaches would probably be best. And then with the resting, Ange has pretty much rested everybody for 2 weeks, whereas we've played our stronger squad the last 2 games. I think for me, I would have looked at resting a Casemiro, an Ahmad, a Bruno and a Yoro. But other than that, I would have wanted all the other players to be fresh. So again, it's a mix of the two. I think Man United could start better than Tottenham and be more fresh and more intense because we played more. But Yoro might miss the game, and Lindelof is not who Man United fans want to see starting in a cup final. But could Tottenham, if it goes to extra time, have the advantage with the extra rest? It's one of those where I think Man United might start better, but Tottenham might end better because of the rest and rotation.
In terms of Amorim himself, in what he's been saying in the lead up to the final, but in terms of just his general kind of rhetoric since he's come into the job, how honest he is. I think a lot of maybe Man United fans find it refreshing, but maybe is there a line where maybe he's crossing into being too honest in front of the media, just saying like he's kind of opens his heart out, it seems, every single press conference about how difficult this job is and how behind you are and how embarrassed he is in the position you are. And when you hear him speak, do you like his honest approach, like how he's talking, or do you think some things need to be kept behind closed doors?
I quite like his honest approach. I always have this thing with managers where, like, in private, you tell your players if they're crap, but in public, just back your players' confidence, all of that. But other than that, I like an honest approach in terms of him saying he's embarrassed, him taking the blame, because I think with Man United being the club the size that we are, we need that mentality to be like, look, 16th is a disgrace. It doesn't matter if we win the Europa League, it's an absolute disgrace. And I think because we came 8th last season and won the FA Cup, it covered the cracks a little bit. We kept Ten Hag, which has ended up costing us because we went and brought players for a back four. We're now playing a back five. I think we learned from last year that we just because we won the FA Cup didn't change the fact that last season was awful, and we're only in the Europa League because we won the FA Cup, which is mad to think.
It is mad to think, but the thing that worries me is that Tottenham have obviously not got over the line for a very long time, since 2008, since the Carabao Cup. Manchester United, even in their worst kind of era, they seem to get over the line year after year. Last year, the FA Cup, the year before, the Carabao Cup. So is there something about you that just thinks like, you know what, United know how to handle these situations?
Yeah, I think when you've got players like Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, you sometimes back United in those moments because sometimes in finals it's not about the best team, it's about who can produce on that moment. Like the amount of times Real Madrid have been rubbish, but then they've won a game in the
Yeah.
Champions League. Bellingham's delivered. With Man United, Casemiro, the second half of the season has been really good for us, actually. Like, he looked finished in January, and these last 3 months, he's just been like Champions League Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes is obviously probably going to be the best player on the pitch in that game. And while I think Tottenham almost have the better team, and if you do combine 11s, there's only three Man United players that are really getting in the combined 11s in Casemiro, Bruno, and Ahmad when people are doing the combined 11s. I do think sometimes if there's a moment, it could be a Bruno ball and Maguire or Casemiro get a head on it, or a Bruno goal or an Ahmad goal. Was I think if you're missing Kulusevski and Maddison, they're probably the two players that are most likely to pop up for you in that moment. Maybe Son. Solanke loves a goal against United, so I think in the sense of sometimes Tottenham could be the better team, but maybe we've got more players to just deliver in that moment to get the win, and sometimes that's what trophies is about.
Have you seen it like in the lead up to the final and in maybe the last few games? In terms of, obviously the results haven't quite been there for United, but they have obviously done quite well in Europe. But have you seen any improvement? Are there any green shoots that you're looking at in how United are playing to suggest maybe he's starting to, things are starting to improve under Amorim?
I do genuinely believe if we get a good number 9 in, we will be much better next season. Because unlike Ten Hag, we're not conceding 20 shots a game. We're not as open. Like when you played us and Ten Hag was in charge, you battered us 3-0. And I know Bruno got sent off, but you still were battering us when Bruno was on the pitch. You could have won that game 4-5-0. Whereas I think under Amorim, the games have been a lot closer. Was it the FA Cup or Carabao Cup game? Was just a game.
Yeah.
Carabao, yeah.
The game of mistakes from Bayindir and Fraser Forster. So that one's kind of a little bit. But I thought the 1-0 was a lot closer. But obviously, you didn't have your best back line, but we didn't have anybody on the bench. We didn't make any subs other than Chido, the 17-year-old, for 5 minutes at the end. So it's a weird one to sort of know what's going to happen. But I think we have improved under Amorim, just not going forward. Like, I think we're better in defence and we're better in midfield. But I don't know if you watched Højlund versus Chelsea. He gave the ball away more times than he made passes. It's kind of like having 10 men on the pitch. Like if you compare Højlund and Solanke, what they're going to offer, and that's the frustration, because I think had Xerxes been fit, we would have 100% started him, because I feel for Højlund, but it's like having 10 men on the pitch. And I think while we have improved lots of elements going forward, it's nothing. And I think with your best back line and us not being able to score goals, even though we were better than Chelsea for a good 65 minutes of that match, we can't score unless we're putting a ball to Maguire in the box, or a ball to Casemiro in the box, or Bruno or Ahmad score a worldie. Like, you look at all our goals, it's outside the box or set pieces. We very rarely score a goal where it's a good bit of work and a tapping at the back post, which is what Brennan Johnson does or Tottenham do more. That's the worry.
Obviously, there's a narrative forming within the Spurs fan base, maybe a bit that means a lot more to Spurs than what it does maybe to Manchester United. So with you obviously being a Man United fan, what do you reckon the narrative is with the people that you speak to? How big is this for Man United fans? Because I've heard that there's going to be a lot more Spurs fans in Bilbao than there'll be Manchester United fans. And obviously there's a lot more Man United fans in the world than there is Tottenham fans. So it's just a weird one. So what's the kind of feeling in the Man United fan base at the moment?
I think it means a lot for both teams. Both teams need to win this because whoever doesn't win this is the loser of this season in a sense. For Man United, like obviously we've won 2 trophies in the last 2 years, so we don't have that trophy drought or that need for a trophy. But for Man United, we're just financially skint. I mean, you probably read all the stories about Ineos not paying for this and Ineos and Sir Jim cutting this and cutting that. So for Man United, it's more we need to do a lot in the transfer window, and I think getting Champions League football would give us £85 million more to spend, which is 2 good signings. And also it means it's just going to help us attract players. Same with Tottenham, it's going to help both teams attract players as well if you don't get Europe. So for Man United, we just need it in a sense of Amrin needs a rebuild. We need to spend a lot of money to sort out this squad because it's atrocious. And without Champions League football, that's going to be harder and that could set us back a year or two. So it means a lot for United, but it definitely means a lot more for Tottenham because you haven't won a trophy in so long. And I think as well, Amrin knows if he loses, he's still safe, whereas Ange knows if he loses, he's sacked. And even if he wins, he might be sacked. I think, Tottenham, it means more to Ange. I think it means more to Tottenham and more to Tottenham fans, but it still means a lot to United in terms of future. But I think United is more financially motivated, whereas Tottenham is like, this is a trophy that I don't know if you've won it before.
Yeah, we've won it twice before in 84 and 72. So it's been a long time coming.
A long time, yeah.
A long time coming. So it's time for it to happen again. But there's been this kind of, I don't even know what you call it, but Keys, Gray, Arsene Wenger, they're all kind of coming out and saying that if Spurs or Man United are playing Champions League football next year off the back of getting through the back door and winning the Europa League, it's an absolute disgrace. And I'm sitting there thinking like, we've literally won a European. One of us is going to win a European competition. Yeah, we've had a bad league season, but that has no bearing on doing well in Europe. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those really where I think if it wasn't Man United and Tottenham and it was, a West Ham, nobody would care. It's because it's Man
Yeah.
United and Tottenham. And I think I read something that like 4 out of the last 5 Europa League winners wouldn't have got Champions League football without winning the Europa League. Sevilla, when they won it, they were 12th in
Yeah.
the Liga. No one's picking out fast. I think Villarreal, when they beat Man United in the final, was 7th or 8th. I think Atalanta came 5th last year, although I think they would have actually got in the Champions League through 5th anyway. So I think it's one of those where, it's because it's Man United and Tottenham, and particularly Man United is just so hated. But I think as well, like Tottenham as well, disliked by Arsenal fans, particularly, Arsene Wenger there. It's like, I think if it was West Ham or Wolves, I don't think we'd have the same convo. And I think people don't realise that, like, imagine if you took away Europa League from winning the FA Cup and Champions League through winning the Europa League, those trophies would mean less. You already see sometimes in the FA Cup the bigger teams rest, players and that and don't take it as seriously. I think the reason people will take the FA Cup and Europa League so seriously is because it's an opportunity to get into Europe. And for Man United and Tottenham, the expectation is to challenge for Champions League, but it's an opportunity for clubs that wouldn't normally get Champions League football to get there. Same with obviously the FA Cup, and the people complaining that Man United won the FA Cup last year and got Europa League football through that. But it's like what makes those competitions better is knowing you get Champions League football on top of a trophy, because I think that makes people take it more seriously. Like we won it, I think 5-6 years ago under Mourinho, and we got Champions League football because of that. We wouldn't otherwise. So to say you shouldn't get Champions League football, I think it makes the trophy less meaningful. I think that's what makes people take it seriously, and that's what puts more on the line and makes it more exciting as a fan.
Yeah,
100%. You said just before, whether Amorim wins it or not, you think he is safe. But if he does lose this final, not to say he's going to be sacked because due to performance, but do you worry for his long-term future at Man United just because of how bad you've been with the current set of players, and you laid out how difficult it's going to be to improve on that without this money coming through in the summer through winning this competition. So if you lose this, is it not looking good for Amorim, do you think, next season?
It's definitely would put the pressure on. I think he's one of those where he's going to get a transfer window, And if we're really crap by Christmas time, he could go. Like it's one of those. But I think they'd give him till Christmas time. But if it's really crap, he could go because look, I don't think it's totally Amron's fault. You know, we were 14th when Ten Hag got sacked. Our underlying numbers last season when we finished 8th would have put us 14th. We're now 16th. The squad isn't great. We are now playing, you know, a back five and we brought a squad for a back four. But Amron, I think, has come in. He's won 6 games in the league and lost 14. It's atrocious. The only team we've beat in 2025 that will be in the Premier League next season is Fulham because the other teams we beat in 2025 were Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester. You know, we've lost to West Ham, we've lost to Tottenham. You know, when we beat City, that was 2024. When we beat Everton, it's 2024. We've not won back-to-back league games all season. We've been atrocious in the Premier League. And while, yeah, we was poor under Ten Hag, it's still been poor under Amron. But he lost Rashford, who, you know, I know he wasn't having the best season at United, but Rashford is our best goal scorer in this. Like, he would start up front over Højlund if he was still here in the final, and Rashford's not striker. You know, Anthony, he probably needed to go on loan, which is good, but we lost him. We didn't replace those two. We never replaced Sancho when he went out on loan. You know, Ahmad then got injured for 4 months. Xerxes now injured. So our only attackers we've got is Højlund and Garnacho for the last 6 weeks. Ahmad's just come back. And I do go, well, to be fair to Amarin, defensively we're fine. The problem is scoring goals. And look, you know, Garnacho I think's been all right. I think he gets way too much stick. But it's like the squad we got is atrocious, but Amarin needs to do better. And I think it's very much a case of we're going to back him in the summer. You give him the striker, you give him another attacking player, a midfielder that can progress the ball, and let's see what happens by December. But I think the pressure will be on, and I think fans will turn on him if we lose the Europa because they'll be fed up because it has been really bad since he's come in.
What's your feelings towards Ange? Because I know you were a big backer of Ange Postecoglou at one point in the season, but if he does go and win this final now, do you think he's done enough to keep his job for next season?
It's a difficult one because I was a big backer of Ten Hag. He won the trophy, stayed, didn't work well. I think with Ange, I backed him until we started to get players back from injury, and you were still bad. Because the reason because I know when you've got Van der Ven and Romero fit, and your best back four, and you were good at the beginning of the season, you were good at the beginning of last season, which is sort of why I backed Ange. Whereas I know that he's not really been playing them so much in the Premier League, but I think for Tottenham, it depends on what manager's available and wants to come to Tottenham in the summer. Like if you're in a position where Thomas Frank, you know, will come to Tottenham in the summer, if you sack Ange, then even if you win the Europa League, I'd sack Ange. But if you're in a position where it's Southgate that's going to come in, then I would keep Ange, if that makes sense. It depends on who is available and if they're better. Because Ange, you know, potentially this winning Europa League and he stays at Tottenham could kick him on, could get the player belief. Finally, Levy might give him some backing and you have more luck with injuries and you could be in a much better place. But I think with what happened with Ten Hag in the FA Cup, I'd probably say sack him if there's a good replacement like a Thomas Frank out there.
Do you think those two situations are very comparable then, like Ten Hag last season and Ange this season in terms of the trophy? Because he's saying it's completely different, Ange.
To an extent, because I think with Tottenham, they've been really bad in the league, and Man United were really bad in the league. Not quite, we were 8th last season, which isn't quite as bad as 17th. And I think winning the trophy as a fan, it makes you forget about how bad the season was because you've got Europa League football, you've got European football, who cares? That you almost forget how bad last season was. And I think it papers over the cracks in that sense. And I think, you know, Ange will obviously say it's different because he wants to protect himself and wants to protect his job. And obviously that's why he's taking Europa League very seriously because I think he knows he has to win to protect his job. But I think it is quite similar.
Well, it's different in a sense that for United, it's not unusual, you know, like, for example, Van Gaal, he won the FA Cup and got sacked a few days later because you weren't happy with his management. So, like, it's not unusual for a club like Man United to have a poor season but still come away with a trophy. Whereas at Tottenham, we haven't won a trophy in 16 years. We haven't had a European trophy in 40 years. Like, on that basis, like, winning a trophy at this club is just a lot harder than doing it at Man United. 100%. So when it comes to, like, the situations, like, in terms of judging the level of performance, you could say for Ten Hag, like, winning a trophy papers over the crack of how poor it is because it's not unusual to do that at Man United. But for Tottenham, like, winning a trophy is literally what the club is, like, aiming to do, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so that situation's a bit different, I would say.
Yeah, 100% get you. I mean, it's up to really those at Tottenham to make the decision because it's like winning a trophy's amazing, and I think a lot of Tottenham fans would want Ange to stay if he wins a trophy because you haven't won one in so long. But I think Tottenham also have to look ahead at next season and say he's won the trophy. That's fantastic. What a fantastic thing. but can we rely on him to bring form in the Premier League next season? And look, I like Ange and I wanted him to succeed at Tottenham. But I think it would be a risk to stick with him. But at the same time, like it could definitely work because you've seen how good you can be when everybody is fit and how he gets the best out of young players.
Yeah, I bet you don't want him to succeed anymore because that means winning this trophy on Wednesday. But there is a few kind of omens coming into it a little bit. There's the ones with the trophy drought, Newcastle, Crystal Palace. I think Bologna as well hadn't won a trophy in 50 years. There's so many around Europe. I think there's a cup final next week in Germany where Stuttgart play a team from the division below where they haven't won a trophy in God knows how long. But then you've got the player ones as well where Casemiro, I think, has never lost in a final. Coutinho Romero has never lost in a final. And Andre Onana, I believe, has never won a final. So, I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it?
It's a weird one as well. And I also read a stat that the last time Man City went trophyless in a season, Man United won the Europa League. And I was like, well, and we had all the injuries in defence last time we won the Europa League, and now we've got our three best centre backs injured. So there's loads of like little things like signalling Tottenham could win, but then there's loads of little things going, oh, it could be Man United's year because Ahmad lost the Europa League final at Rangers. Bruno Fernandes lost the Europa League final, 4 years ago with Oli in that awful penalty shootout. And if this game goes to penalties, I will not watch the penalties. I cannot do with penalties in the Europa League final game. That's all I'm saying. Not penalties. Please be done in the game. But there's so many little signs. But it's going to be... The thing is, I can't predict it. If I'm going to be totally honest, I honestly can't predict it.
Yeah, have you ever remembered a final this kind of on a knife edge? Because like this game is literally 50-50. I don't think there's a favourite going into this.
No, like I feel like a lot of people would say Tottenham, if you look at the combined 11s, have the better team, but then a lot of people are like, I guess Man United, with their history, they have to be the favourites. But then I'm sitting there thinking like, I guess with Man United in history and the expectation of the club, we might be slight favourites, but we're both just as rubbish. Like there's not a clear favourite, and it's like United, yes, they turn up in finals, but Tottenham are beating us this season. We're both just as rubbish. It's like you can't pick a favourite. It's not like when there's been other finals and you're like, well, that team's obviously a lot better than that team. Like let's say if Newcastle were in this position, not Man United, everyone would be saying, well, Newcastle will probably beat Tottenham in the final. Whereas everyone's like, well, they're both rubbish, but maybe we back Man United because they win trophies, but they haven't beaten Tottenham under Ange at all. So there's no favourite really.
Is there any selection headaches for Amorim ahead of this, or do you pretty much know the lineup, do you think?
I think the lineup will be the exact same lineup that started versus Chelsea, but there is some reports that Delo and Yoro are borderline. It's like they might be able to play, but Amorim's got to take that risk to go. Like if the Europa League was in 2 weeks, they would play, but they're returning to garage training. Obviously, Delo's been out for a lot longer than Yoro. Yoro's been out for 2 weeks. So it's one of those because for me, I would much rather see Yoro than Lindelof. And I think like Yoro and Delo would both start if they're fully fit. That's the big question is, how much of a risk is it to play Yoro and Delo knowing that they probably need a couple more days, but just could play if need be? That's going to be the headache. But other than that, it'll probably be the same squad versus Chelsea.
And I guess like the Tottenham headache, I think the team pretty much picked itself apart from one position, which is the 10, with Maddison out, Kulusevski out, which could impact the 9 as well. I mean, who do you think plays there? I know you follow Spurs a lot, so you might have an opinion on it. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think Solanke should play just off Richarlison. But I guess we don't have too many options. Could Son play there? Could Tell play there? Odegaard?
Yeah, it's so difficult to predict because I think Odegaard has played there before, but then I thought he didn't play Richarlison in the game versus Villa, which says to me he's going to play both Richarlison and Solanke. So I'm assuming he's going to have Richarlison, Solanke with probably Brennan and Son out wide.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's going to do, but I don't know really. It would be a difficult one to predict because I thought maybe he could try Sarr there, but I think he got an injury and he's not a 10 either really, And I don't think
does that worry you, the thought of having Solanke and Richarlison on the pitch together, two kind of aerial threats to aim at in the box? Is that something that concerns you?
Definitely if Lindelof plays, because we call him Lindesoft, and even though De Gea got a lot of fault for the last Europa League final, like the goal we conceded was Lindelof not winning headers. So like when you've got Maguire, it's all right, but when you've got Lindelof, you're a bit like, So I think that would definitely, and the thing that worries me the most is pace, because our back three will be Luke Shaw, Lindelof, Maguire if we can't have Euro back, and there's no pace. That's more what worries me. I think Maguire is fine. But yeah, I think if they target Lindelof and set pieces we're atrocious at, that's probably the biggest worry, set pieces.
So Alice, not long till the big day. How do you see it panning out, and what's your score prediction?
Oh, I've got two scenarios in my head. I've got like my heart and my head.
Go
My
on, give
head
us both.
goes, my head goes, are Man United going to score a goal? Because we can't score. And could Tottenham nick it? Brennan Johnson on the back post, sort of jammy goal kind of thing. My part of my head thinks Tottenham could nick this 1-0 and part the bus and Brennan Johnson jammy goal. But then my heart goes, Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro are going to do something. And it's going to be like, I think Tottenham will score. We very rarely keep clean sheets. But for some reason, we might get a penalty through something. Bruno's going to put it away. Casemiro's going to score a header. My heart says 2-1 United. My head says 1-0 Spurs.
Well, let's hope your head's right. And when you look at Spurs, when you look at Spurs in the 2 away legs in the quarterfinals and the semi-final, where we didn't do stylistically Ange ball, we sat deep, we waited for our moments, we were defensively solid. Surely that's got to worry you going into this game.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we don't score goals, and if you're defensively solid, we almost need you to make a mistake to capitalize on it. Because when we score, it's outside the box or set pieces, so we almost need you to make a mistake. And I feel like when you've got your best back line, you're less likely to make a mistake. So it definitely worries me. Like United have been very good in the Europa League, but the Lyon game was 8 minutes of us showing up and saving it. The Bilbao game, they got the red card. So while I think Lyon and Bilbao would, Bilbao particularly were the favourites, probably tougher opposition than Bodo Glimt. It's like we just had that moment and luck. Whereas I feel like Tottenham, you went and beat Frankfurt and you did the job in Bodo with a few players out. So that's why I'm worried. Like some Man United fans are quite confident. They're like, it's Tottenham, and I won't win a trophy. But I'm like, look, like we've got to be realistic about how crap Man United are. Yeah. Like we have to be realistic about it. So I am worried.
Yeah, it's like the El Crapico, isn't it, going into this game? That's literally what it is. But Alice, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I'm not going to wish you luck for Wednesday, but let's hope your nerves just hold up. But everyone doing to go subscribe. Alice Talks Football, some brilliant football content on there, as well as some great Spurs content. But Alice, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me on. Come on, United.
Big up, Alex. Speak to you soon. But yeah,
brilliant, very cool.
As always, yeah,
always good to get Alice's opinions.
I'm just sitting here being like, what the hell is going to happen on Wednesday, man? Like, as it gets closer and closer, I am just getting more nervous, and more nervous. Like a week ago, I was sitting there being like, you know what? I'm actually super confident for this game. I think Spurs can do the job. But as it's getting closer, I'm getting more and more nervous. I just don't know which way this is going to go.
Someone posted a montage of all the finals we've lost recently. I know we saw a video on social media.
There's no chance I'll be watching that.
He's literally he's just a montage of like all our players like sadly walking past these trophies as we lose yet another final. And I was just watching that thinking, why am I so confident going to this game? I should really have PTSD from all these finals, honestly. I think most of the fan base do. But I think obviously we have so much baggage going into this final. We've been let down so many times. It's hard to believe that we live in a world where that might not happen on Wednesday. But, Palace would have said the same thing yesterday. Newcastle would have said the same thing before their game against Liverpool. And they're just, as I said, there seems to be something in the air this year.
There is, and look, as I said, however
breathing
confident
in.
I was in the past week, I'm trying to envisage Spurs lifting that trophy, being there, Spurs lifting the trophy, and then Spurs being on a parade down Tottenham High Road. I literally just can't picture it in my head.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Because it's just like, because we haven't been there for so long. In my lifetime, I don't think Spurs have done trophy parades. Well, I was born in 89 and they did one in 91, so you can pretty much say in my lifetime. So I've never actually witnessed it with my eyes. We haven't won a trophy of this magnitude since 1984. So however much I think Spurs are going to go there and do the job, I just can't visualize it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, because you've never seen it. So you can't visualize things you can't. Our brains are predictive in that sense. They imagine a lot of things that, like when you dream about people, even though you think they're random, they're always people you've seen before. Even though if you're passing the straw or something. So but you've never seen Tottenham lift a European trophy, so you can't dream about it just yet.
But I've seen the pictures.
I've seen the pictures, yeah. Oh, God. Imagine Sonny lifting that trophy. Everyone seeing I'm loving Big Ange instead.
We just need to
Open top
manifest
bust.
it, people. We just need to manifest it. I've been trying to manifest it all week with, I put up a tweet with myself holding the UEFA Cup trophy. I've been laying into Gooners online as well, which has always been fun. I sent out a tweet yesterday which actually went mad. I don't think people knew I was being sarcastic at one point, but what was the tweet yesterday? Talking about the Crystal Palace game. And I said, where is it? I said, Crystal Palace in the Europa League next season, something's seriously wrong with the rules. It's a complete joke. And people were taking it as like I actually meant it.
It's like, well, you're 16, 17, don't you know who you support? It's like, yeah, that's the point, mate. Like, God, it goes over everyone's head, these things.
It really did. But look, there's just so many different, little bits going into this game. Like I mentioned before, like Spurs haven't won the trophy since 2017. All these teams breaking their trophy duck, whether it be Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Harry Kane winning his first trophy of his career as well. Bologna out in Italy winning their first trophy. And you've got the player things with Casemiro never losing a final. He's a proper winner. You know what I mean? If you want someone on your final, in a final team, he's definitely one of them. You've got Cuti Romero, who's never lost a final in his career as well. You've got Andre Onana, their goalkeeper, who's never won a final in his career. And look, I'm sure you've got James Maddison. I'm sure he's probably won every final he's been in, probably the only final.
Well, for Leicester, yeah.
Well, he's not even playing, so I don't even know why I said it. But there are all these like different kind of narratives going into it and omens going into it. Does this make any sort of bearing in the final, or are they just like fun to talk about before the final?
I think most of it is just fun to talk about. I don't think it has a bearing, but I think when it comes to seeing teams like Newcastle and Palace break their trophy droughts, I do think it will give that team just a little bit of belief that why can't that be us? We've just seen two other teams do it. Two other teams who have very, very long trophy droughts. Two other teams
longer than us,
and who played better teams than we did, to break them, Liverpool and Man City, and they're now, given their fan bases unbelievable joy and happiness, which they've never haven't experienced. And has been drumming into this team. We've seen in the team talks, you could be the players to do it. You could be the players to break this trophy drought. All these other players, managers who've come in and out and not won trophies, for one reason or another, all these world-class players like Kane and managers like Mourinho and Conte have come in here and not won the trophies. But you could be the set of players that break the duck, break the spell. And I think watching teams like Newcastle and Palace do it in the lead up to us facing it, I think I'm not saying it'll be a massive difference. I just think they'll look at that and think, if that could be us.
Because we've beaten Manchester United 3 times this season, do you think that gives the players more confidence going into this game? Because, Ange was asked that in a press conference, I think, last week. And he said, that's got no bearing. This is a one-off game. Finals are very reliant on moments and stuff like that. It's about who wants it. He didn't say that, but it is about who wants it more on the day. And I genuinely believe Spurs are going to want it more on the day. And I feel like a lot of these Man United players have been there, they've done it, they've won a lot bigger trophies than the Europa League. They've got Champions League winners in that team, where Spurs, they're a very young team, just coming together. And this is probably, Son called it the biggest day of his life. You know what I mean? Not many of those Man United players are going to call this the biggest day of their life with
100%.
Playing for Manchester United. So in my opinion, I think the Spurs players are going to want it more. I think the fans are going to want it more, a lot more, the fans. That's surely got to have a big impact in this game.
I think so. And you saw when even as those two kind of cup finals I mentioned, Newcastle and Palace, especially the Newcastle one, you just saw they just wanted it more, and how much of a difference that it made. You elevated their performance. They were so much better than Liverpool on the day, and they just. Even look at the evidence of when we played Chelsea in the Carabao when we won. Like, Chelsea are a far better team than us back then. I mean, back in 08, they were challenging for titles. That year they got to a Champions League final. But on the day, we just wanted it that little bit more. And it elevated the performance, and they got the best out of everyone. And I feel like Wednesday could be something similar. Obviously, it's slightly different because for Man United in terms of not in terms of the magnitude of the trophy, but just in terms of how much they need this trophy right now with the position they're in the league. That could lead to them also really like wanting it, in a sense that obviously winning Europa League is not a big deal, but getting in the Champions League and getting that money that to rebuild the squad, and how much how much of this is like a sliding doors moment for them, that could lead them as well to kind of wanting it just as much as Tottenham. But I think the fact that Tottenham just don't just want, you know, all those things, they also are just desperate to get that trophy drought over done and dusted, and like have that over and done with. And I think the fact that all the players as well, it's been very clear the whole season we've been talking about this. We've been talking about this day. Cup final, winning a trophy for this team. Beginning of the season, all the players did their interviews beginning of the season, what do you want to achieve this season? Win a trophy is what they all said, pretty much. They all said they want to win it. They didn't say top 4 or anything. They all said we want to win a trophy. And I think the whole season for us has been gearing to this moment, whereas for Man United, this is just a kind of something, it's a happy circumstance there in a final kind of thing, where like the season's been terrible, but they just happen to find themselves in a final off the back of it. For us, I feel like this whole season's been gearing towards this.
Do you feel like that could work both ways though? Like it could work in a way where, you know, on the day they want it really well, they want it so much that they play out of their skin. But then there's another situation to say that you're so desperate for it, you can kind of shit the bed.
Yeah, 100%. And that's obviously how, you know, bottling, that's called bottling it. And we are not unfamiliar.
We don't have that Spursy tag for no reason.
We're not unfamiliar with a bottle, put it that way. So, of course, there's definitely, and especially as well, at the end of the day, apart from Romero, you are dealing with a lot of players who are not very experienced in this kind of scenario. So, when it comes to big finals, big games, you know, we don't know which players are going to clamp up, which players are going to play within themselves, and which players are going to thrive in that scenario, because we just haven't seen a lot of these players in these scenarios. So obviously it's going to be a bit of a guessing game when it comes to that, but 100% there might be players who, when it comes to the big occasion, we've also seen this season, you know, when we go to a lot of the time away grounds, maybe not in the Europa League, but obviously in the Premier League, you know, we've gone to away grounds, loud away grounds, who, you know, the fans get on top of you, and we bottle it and we shrink.
Like Frankfurt.
I'm not saying in Europa League it hasn't happened, but I'm saying in the Premier League it has a lot. A Carabao Cup, obviously in the second leg it happened. So we are a team that has that ability, that has the, we know we've got that in us to do that.
But you know what? Like there's been a different sense around Tottenham in the Premier League and particularly the latter stages of this Europa League tournament, right? And what gives me a bit of confidence going into this final is the way we've handled the situation out in Frankfurt, out in Bodo, where both of them were big banana skins, weren't they? You know, Frankfurt had the whole narrative about we're not going to be able to handle the occasion, the stadium, the atmosphere. Frankfurt are obviously a very good team. They finished third in the Bundesliga. Bodo, everyone was saying it was a massive banana skin as well, the way they are at home, the record that they've had at home in Europe and everything like that. And we handled both. I wouldn't say we have no problems at all, but we just handled it really well, as best as we could have done, probably. You know, we go there, both stadiums, we don't concede a goal, we get the job done. And yeah, I get what you're saying in terms of handling, like in Galatasaray earlier on in the tournament and away games all season in the Premier League. But those two games, very recent games, do give me that kind of confidence that we can take that kind of element to our game to the final.
Absolutely. And I think how calm we were was the most impressive thing. We didn't panic. We didn't make mistakes. We didn't shit the bed. We were calm and composed, and we stuck to the game plan. We played our game. I think in those scenarios, I think players like Romero, Bentancur, Basuma, experienced players really stepping up for us in a crucial time, leading the team, making sure everyone's doing their job. We know Romero, he's won these finals before. He knows it doesn't get much bigger than a World Cup, and doesn't get much bigger than a World Cup and a Copa America final. And not only did he do that, but he played in those finals and shone. And he was brilliant in those finals for Argentina. Helped them get over the line, and he knows what it takes. And I think in the lead up into this Europa League final, I think in these performances, the defence has been fantastic. It's something that we've criticised. A lot of criticism has come in for our back line, but Vicario van der Ven, Romero, Udogie, and Porro have all been outstanding in this run-up to the Europa League final. They've probably been the shining lights more than anything, that back line. And I think that's why he has completely left them out in the lead-up to this. He just can't afford to lose any piece of that back line. He needs them all fit, all playing as well as they have been. And I think the way we have dealt with those hard occasions, which the teams previously might have bottled, or even this team on a different occasion might have bottled, I think the calmness, the composure, the ability to stick to the plan and pull it off to a T as well, that was probably the most impressive thing. And I think if we have that kind of attitude going to the final, bring that same kind of composure into the final, I think we've got a great chance.
I agree. But, I think Spurs fans will be coming into this thinking on the back of those two ties against Frankfurt and Bodo that Spurs can definitely go out there and do the job. But then again, Manchester United in their own right will be saying, look, we're Manchester United. We've won trophies in the last 2 years. You guys don't know how to get over the line. And, both fans are going to have full belief in their own teams, aren't they? And it's like not very often you see a final where it's split so 50-50. And both teams genuinely believe they're going to be going home and lifting the trophy.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's a bit more maybe belief in the Tottenham fan base at the moment from what I feel like. You hear Neville speaking, he usually, you heard like obviously Carragher was saying no chance Tottenham beat Man United in a European Cup final, no chance. And he was like very adamant about it. And you'd feel like that's what United fans probably feel as well. But when you hear like Neville speak, he's like, I've got like a pit in my stomach. I feel sick like thinking about this game.
But even you, right? You were saying you'd rather face Bilbao because you know how Man United just get over the line in these kind of situations.
I said I'd rather face United. I said
I thought you said Bilbao.
No, I said I'd rather face United.
Oh, I thought you said Bilbao.
No, I said there's a case for it. But I said, for sure, I'd rather look, because United, I think, are the inferior team, in my opinion. So I think
it just lost 7-1 there.
I know, but I think, in my opinion, I still think Bilbao are better. And I said, the team have beaten 3 times. As much as all these things, you got to take them into account. The history and all that kind of stuff. I still think I would rather face United than Bilbao in this game.
Wow. Well, whatever it happens, it's going to be an absolutely mad day. So if you guys are going out to Bilbao, let us know in the comment section below what is your route? Because I know a lot of Spurs fans are taking such crazy routes.
Yeah, I know. We did a tweet
to get there. I'm flying out to France tomorrow. I fly out to Lourdes in France. I stay the night there. Then I get a train to Biarritz in the morning, and I'm getting a car. I'm driving from Biarritz to Bilbao Tuesday morning, 2-hour drive. And then on the way back, I am going from Bilbao back to Biarritz, train up to Paris, and then the Eurostar home. That's my route, which is a crazy route, to be fair.
Yeah, it's nuts, and there's a lot of routes, a lot of crazy routes. They've got this guy Bouchan Seth, JFK to Madrid to Bilbao to Iberia, there's so many things. This guy, what's called Mikey on Mike's Bird, says West Wales to Stansted to Bergerac, then a drive to Santander for a 2-day drive to Bilbao, then Thursday drive to Bordeaux, a night in Bordeaux, Friday back to Bergerac, then fly to Stansted. Like crazy round trips these people are doing to get to this game. That's how much it kind of means to everyone to get there. Yeah. Planes, trains and automobiles.
Yeah, they've left us with no choice though. The prices are an absolute joke, man. Mm-hmm. Not only just the prices of travel, but the accommodation prices as well. I mean, it's all an absolute farce, to be honest. But look, people are going to get there by hook or by crook. People will swim there if they have to. This is what it means to this fan base to be in a European final, or to be in a final in general. And you know what? People are going to be put to the test now, aren't they? Because a lot of people said at the beginning of the season, I'll take 17th and winning a trophy. And this is the best trophy that we could have won this season.
100%. And I think, look, everyone was saying at the beginning of the season, we should be focused on that Europa League. I think that was the main thing. Obviously, we didn't want us to be 17th at the same time, of course. But I think I think at the beginning of the season, everyone was like, Europa League, that's why I want to win this season, Europa League. That was like the number one thing, I think, for everyone at the beginning of the season. And here we are on the cusp of it. And I think it'll be an unbelievable day. Unbelievable day if we get over the line.
Well, I just want to know from you guys out there, like, what are your feelings going into it? Because I just don't know how to feel at this moment in time. The closer, like I said before, the closer I get to it, the more nervous I'm getting. I'm getting butterflies in my stomach just thinking about being in Bilbao, being at another European final once again. It's like back before 2019, you're thinking, will Spurs ever get to a European final? Now we're sitting here. In the last 5 years, we've been to 2 European finals, which is mad.
2 more than Arsenal have in the last 10 years.
Well, one more than Arsenal.
One more than Arsenal. Well, we've been to both Champions League and Europa League.
Yeah. They were close, but didn't get the job done. But yeah, just let us know, guys. How was your nerves feeling
Well, how
out
many
there?
English clubs have been to 2?
So Chelsea have.
What, in the last 6 years?
Haven't they won the champ? Well, they're in one now, aren't they? Conference League.
And obviously they won the Europa League that year. We were in the
When
final.
did they win the Champions League?
Yeah, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Well, yeah. Liverpool, they were in the Champions League final when we got there. Have they been in one since?
Yeah, they lost to Madrid.
So they've been in one since. Manchester United have won the Europa League, and they in the Europa League final again. So pretty a few of them.
United, yeah, but no one's been to. Well, I guess no one's been to a Champions League and the Europa League. We're probably the only one. Well, Chelsea, the only one to do that, and us.
Yeah.
But, yeah, all the good clubs, apart from Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we live for, man. This is the moment. This is the time to do the job, people. This is it. This is literally it. And look, if you're going to Bilbao, if you're going to the stadium, if you're going to watch it in a pub, mate.
It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day.
Mate.
Make sure just like you have the day off, you start early, get together, whatever
Pace
you're doing, get your
well.
family. There's a lot going on in Bilbao day before as well. There's all these things going on. All the fans I'm seeing on social media, all the fans are making plans to get-togethers and whatever. There's going to be so many fans out there anyway. It's probably going to be hard to avoid a Tottenham fan rather than trying to make plans to get them together. But
yeah, the way I'm envisaging it is like the way it was in Madrid, where it felt like it was like every 10 Liverpool fans, it was one Spurs fan. And like the way it's been talked about on social media and stuff, I feel like it's going to be the other way around in terms of in favour of Spurs. But for some reason, I just can't imagine it being like that.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to get I want the fan park's going to be with a stage and performances on stage, hopefully. Are we going to get a Forms performance, James Black?
I don't know about Forms, but I assume James Black will be there because he was in Madrid, wasn't he, performing on stage? Mm-hmm. So I assume that they're going to do it again. We get Cliff Jones up there and all the legends.
Get them all up there. Surely got to be some legends in the fan park. Come on.
Yeah, there definitely will be. It's going to be a momentous occasion. Whatever happens in that 90 minutes, just the build-up is going to be insane. It's going to be absolutely insane. And if you guys are out there in Bilbao, hopefully we'll get to see and speak to you guys, and we can suffer together, guys, because the build-up is going to be a mixture of things. It's going to be just like jubilation to be there and get the drinks flowing and sing song and all that. But on the other side, it's just going to be so much nerves, so much anxiety in that build-up.
I saw someone say Tottenham United are not fighting for glory; they're fighting for survival.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Because with how bad each season, both our seasons have gone, it kind of feels like it's weird going into a cup final trophy. You have to win it. Like losing is like not an option. Usually, for a cup final, it's like it'll be glorious to win it, but like. Obviously, if you, it's not I'm saying not the end of the world, but like if you lose it, like it's not going to be the end of your club, kind of thing. But it kind of feels like if we do lose this, it might just be.
We got to be prepared for it because if we lose it, we finish 17th with no trophy. Like, which way do we go? Like, how do we even get out of the rut that we're in?
Yeah,
this means so much for us more than just getting a trophy and just breaking that trophy duck. It really does. This game is just insanely big. It really is. This could shape Spurs over the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm. It's a real sliding doors moment. It's 100%. We've already heard the reports of potentially sell to buy if in the summer. I'm assuming we don't get into the Champions League, the money we're going to be missing out on. Plus, not only that, but because we finished so low down, if we lose, all the money we'd have missed out on in Premier League prize money, that we've missed out on, because we've probably missed out on at least 30 million, because if we should really be, if we're finishing 10 places higher than we are, at least 7th, that's 30 million we're missing out on. 3 million per league place. So you got that plus no European football at all. We might have to sell players. You know what I mean?
Well, we all know Romero's probably going to be out the door, but do you mean apart from Romero, above Romero?
I hope not. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll be that bad, but like we know Basuma's going to leave and Richarlison's probably going to leave anyway, so we'll probably get a bit of money there. But I think it just, in terms of how we're perceived, where we're going, so many different things. If we don't win that Europa League, it all can change. It's all down to one game.
Yeah. And how do you feel it is against Manchester United? Because obviously we've beaten them 3 times this season. What is the way to beat Man United? Because we know because we've beaten them 3 times. But is it kind of the reserved approach that we took in the 2 legs or the 2 second legs against Frankfurt and Bodo? Or is it going to be classic Ange ball, pressing high up the front, being a bit gung-ho?
I think the best approach is probably to try and put them under as much pressure as possible when in your pressing, because they got so many mistakes in them. Obviously, on the flip side of that, it is a bit risky because you probably just leave more space for them, and especially with their wide wing backs, they can, and with Bruno as well floating around, then all of a sudden you leave it open for yourselves to be kind of exploited. But I also think if you get your pressing right against them and you force them into mistakes, I think they can have mistakes in them. 100%. They got a lot of mistakes in them, and we've seen that quite a few times. So I think if you obviously sitting back against them is a viable strategy as well. Don't get me wrong, because you kind of know then they don't have a great forward line. And if you just defensively solid, making sure they're not getting any advantages there, then that kind of, if you pick your moments like we did in the European games with Porro, all the going along and whatever, then we might comfortably win the game as well. But I think tactically, if you were to tactically analyse how to beat Man United, I think you probably would land on high pressing. I think that's probably what you would land, but we have had more joy not doing that recently. So I don't know which way he probably goes. It's a tough one, but I think when we beat Man United in February, we weren't so gung ho. I remember it was quite a measured performance. It was
which game was that?
We beat them 1-0.
Oh.
And it was we deserved it, but it was very much a measured kind of controlled performance.
Was that one of Amarim's first games?
No. In January or February, we beat them 1-0. Maddison scored, and he did the what's it called? He did the thing to Roy Keane.
Oh yeah. Do you feel like though the time we've beaten Manchester United 3 times this season, right? Like I keep saying, but Maddison has been a vital part of every single one of them, and Decky, and without them, we're probably going to have to find a different way to win.
100%. Although I was looking, I was watching the highlights of their loss to Chelsea, and I saw the goal that Chelsea scored, and that would be just that's the perfect goal we could score. You know what I mean? It was basically Reece James in that kind of half space, clipping it to that back post, and I think Cucurella was running onto it and headed it home.
Great
I'm just thinking, you get Richarlison and Solanke in those positions. You got Porro there. We could do that. We could hurt them in that way, 100%. And obviously, the fact that we've beaten 3 times doesn't mean anything really going into the game in terms of each game's different, especially in a final. But I think it will give this team just that little bit of confidence that we we know we can beat them. We've beaten them before already this season. We can get over the line, and that will give this. I think psychologically, it should give this team a bit of a boost, in my opinion.
I'm trying to look at that. The last time we lost to them was 2022, in October 2022. Fred and Bruno Fernandes. It's been a long time since we've lost to these lot, and actually, that should give me confidence, but it actually worries me more because This is Spurs Manchester United, and obviously they've got the massive history over us. And you're thinking, how long could this run go on for?
One more game.
God, man.
Why not?
Give me 2 losses against them next season to give us a win here, please.
Mm-hmm.
Just get the job done, Tottenham, please. Just for once in our lives, can we just please get over the line?
I think if we can just
Please.
stop Bruno, make sure he's not doing anything to like getting too much space, we're closing him down, making sure he's not getting too involved. I think we just go a long way to stopping Man United, honestly, because I think he's been so great for them, and he's been kind of a player who's been stepping up for Man United in very difficult scenarios this season. I think if we can make sure he's not having such a big influence, I think we know there's going to be chances for us. We know there's going to be moments, and you can, I guess United could say the same. But what I would argue is in this Europa League, we have been defending a lot better, and our defence has been really good against Frankfurt, Bodo, RZ as well. In most when we've had Romero and Van de Ven anyway against RZ. I can't remember too many chances we even conceded. We barely conceded chances in all 3 of those. Whereas United, yes, they won. Don't get me wrong, and deservedly so. You can't sit here and say they didn't concede a lot of chances in those games, did they? They did in each of them. So for me, I think we're defending better in the Europa League right now with our back line.
I think there's been a massive element of luck of how Manchester United have got here. Against Lyon and against Bilbao. Bilbao. I think there's been a massive element of luck of how they got through these ties. Referees have helped them, red cards. They had no right to win that Lyon game. They just had some freak ending to that game where they scored 3 goals in the last however many minutes. Where you look at us, I don't think there's been an element of luck of us getting to where we are. We've had controlled, good defensive displays, and we've deserved to be where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Did Man United deserve to be here right now? I'm not so sure.
I think, Sociedad, obviously, I think they deserved it. I think Lyon was touch and go. I mean, it's impressive the way they did come back, but they were facing a Lyon team down to 10 men, and they found themselves 2 goals behind.
Yeah.
They conceded 2 goals to a team with 10 men, which is ridiculous. But then they did end up scoring 3 in 8 minutes, which is it was a once in a kind of 1 in a million thing, but it happened, and that was, you could probably say, a bit of a massive slice of luck. But against Bilbao, I mean, look, they did end up winning 7-1, but I do think how the games went, I'm not saying like they weren't that much better than them. I'm just saying kind of clouds how both games did go, because in that first game they were very much second best for the opening half an hour or so. They could have easily been 2 or 3 down. They then get a red card, Bilbao, and all of a sudden Bilbao are 1-0 down and down to 10 men in a one fell swoop. And then all of a sudden United take control. The game at Old Trafford, Bilbao take the lead 1-0 up and are a much better team again for 70 minutes. And but obviously chasing a 3-goal deficit. Yeah. They're the better team, and they're 1-0. They're 1-0 up, Bilbao. And then Mason Mount, 20 minutes to go, gets that kind of killer goal. Right, makes it 1-1, basically kills the game, and then United basically just take advantage of that situation and go and win 4-1 in the last 20 minutes. Whereas most of that game wasn't exactly like United were much the better team. So I agree. It doesn't really tell the full story, that Bilbao game. Whereas we look at Tottenham against Bodo, we were very much dominant. Like, we deserved over both legs. We were just the most dominant team pretty much for 180 minutes. We dominated and we deserved what we got. And it wasn't a case of the game doesn't tell the full story. The result, I think, the 5-1 win over 2 legs tells the full story there of how dominant we were.
Yeah. So, what do you think the score's going to be? What's your score prediction?
I do think we're going to win. But what is the score going to be? I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1. You think
3-1.
It's going to be a big one? I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, actually. I think everything suggests that it will be a high-scoring game, but I just feel like 2 teams will come into it a bit cagey from the start. I think it's going to be split by the odd goal. I'm going to go for 1-0 to Spurs.
6-1, half a dozen of the other, isn't it, this final?
It really is. Literally anything can happen in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. United can come out and batter Spurs. Spurs can come out and batter. Literally, if anything, whatever happens in this final, it's probably not going to surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so 50-50.
God, doesn't get any bigger than this. Does not get any bigger than this.
And the longer it goes 0-0, the more the nerves are going to start to creep in as well.
Just looking at those scenes yesterday, all that, you know, I know it's a different situation. It's literally Palace's first major trophy in their lifetime, but you know, old people who've never seen their team win a trophy, you know, crying together, the happiness it brought that fan base. I just, you know,
why can't it be us?
Why can't it be us?
Why can't it be us?
I was looking at it thinking,
us.
I was just watching, thinking this is going to be us somewhere. I just had this belief, just came in through me at that moment. Like, this is going to be us on Wednesday. I just believe it. I just believe that. Watching it, I was like, I just got this feeling that is going to be us on Wednesday. It's our time. This is our time.
It's the year of the underdog this year.
It is. Something we just got a super chat about it. Where is it?
Because you talk about the year of the underdog. Even Liverpool weren't favourites to win the league this season. They've won the league. They were kind of the underdog.
That's it. Jordan Maldonado says, it's the year of the broken trophy drought. Let's not screw this opportunity up. Let's put Arsenal more in the mud. Safe travels, boys. Big up. And it is the year of that broken trophy drought. And it is the year of the underdog. Everything seems to be lining up. And I guess it's classic Tottenham for all the underdogs to win, but Tottenham. That is how we do things. But I don't know. I've just got this belief that I know we all are nervous and we all have PTSD from so many failed, you know, false dawns, failed kind of final wins and slipping up when it really matters. But maybe this is going to be different. How many times? Look, it's surely just theory of probability at some point. It's got to go for you. Law of averages. It's like at some point, it's got to go for you. You know what I mean? Why can't we get a bit of luck? Maybe we'll get a dodgy penalty in the first minute on Wednesday. Maybe they'll get a bullshit handball.
I'm praying for that.
Come on, one time, just once. Fall for us, the gods. Have we not prayed hard enough? What are we missing? Why don't you hear our prayers?
I've said it before. No matter who you pray to, whether it be Buddha, Allah, Hashem, Jesus, whoever, whether you're an atheist, just make sure you try all different avenues coming into it. Just see what sticks, guys. Surely one of them is going to be right. Surely. So just do everything you can. Voodoo if you have to. Just do anything that you can that can sway the power into Spurs.
Get a Bruno voodoo doll.
You know what I mean? Just anything that you can, man. Come on.
Anyone
this
got to
be our time. This has to be our time. This has to be.
Come on.
I'm not having it any other way. This has got to be our time, people. Please.
Come on, feel it.
I am just on my hands and knees, people, to bring us this trophy, please.
God.
Oh.
So it'll be unbelievable. What a day. And now just again, to reiterate what a massive day it would be. Just like, this is the biggest trophy of our lifetime, it would be. Bit of first European trophy in 40 years. There's so many Tottenham fans out there who haven't seen Tottenham lift the European trophy before.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
And this would just be an incredible day for everyone.
Yeah, so I'm going to go 1-0 Spurs. Sim's going, what did you say?
3-1.
3-1 to Spurs. Let us know in the comment section below what your score predictions are. This is the last match preview before the big day on Wednesday. Like I said, I travel out tomorrow. Sim travels out on Tuesday. I think some more content will be coming out for you guys tomorrow with Sim in the studio just before he leaves. But oh man, I don't know if I can take this build up from now until Wednesday, 8 o'clock kickoff, man. I don't know if I can take it, but it's what we have to go through. And we've been through so much crap and so much shit football. It's time for us to be rewarded.
Exactly.
It really is, man. All these games that we've had to sit through, the Villa game, the West Ham game, the Forest game, like all these games over the past 6 months, man. Surely we're going to be rewarded. Surely.
At some point. This is like, you know, there's got to be a payoff to all this pain.
You know what
there
I mean?
has to be.
And
I have to believe that.
And there hasn't been since 2008. It's been a long time coming.
No payoff. It's like, what are we in? Season 30 of Tottenham Hotspur, whatever. However long we've been supporting them. Surely it gets good at this point.
Manifest it, people. Manifest it, people. Manifest it, people. Spurs are bringing home the Europa League trophy on Wednesday night. But that is your match preview. And it is time to go into the predicted lineup. But just before we do that, let's get into a couple of super chats. that have been sent in. Michael Hellman is saying, making the trek from the US, never shilled out so much for a match. Hashtag come on you Spurs, road to Bilbao. Big up to you, Michael
Yeah,
Hellman.
a lot of people shelled out a lot of money
I know,
to get
it's
to
true.
these games.
I hope we see you there.
Come say hi, Michael.
Yeah, if you do
Love
see
that.
us, come and say hi. I would love to meet you. And he also says, we fear the humiliation of a Manchester United win. We definitely do, that's for sure. The missing texture says, someone needs to change Ozzy's dream to Sonny's dream. I love that, actually.
Yes, I like that. I like that as well. Sonny's going to Wembley, his knees are going to tremble. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
And quick half-time updates. Leicester are 1-0 up.
I've seen.
And Jamie Vardy has put the ball in the back of the net for his last game for Leicester. Brentford are 2-1 up with Mbeumo and Wissa. Raul Jimenez scoring as well. And right now, Nottingham Forest are 2 goals to the good at the London Stadium with 15 minutes left to go. Gibbs White and Milenkovic getting the goals. But it's time to get into the predicted lineup. This is the lineup that we think is going to take to the field on Wednesday night in Bilbao. But let's talk about the injury news first.
Yeah, I mean, we don't obviously know the official news because the press conference isn't for another couple of days. But we know Dragoshin's definitely out. We know Kulusevski's definitely out. We know Scarlett's had surgery. We know Maddison is definitely going to be injured for this one with his ankle. Well, Timo Werner's got a hamstring injury. Pupsar obviously is a doubt, but we haven't heard anything official. Hopefully he's okay, but he went off and went down the tunnel in the last game against Aston Villa on Friday night. And Lucas Bergvall is an interesting one. More and more rumours suggesting he's training.
Oh, is there more today?
There's more rumours suggesting he's training with the team.
What are the rumours today?
He's doing shooting drills. He's looking good, apparently. But who really knows how true these are? It's just rumours. But, you know, there were rumours that he was in individual training. It turned out to be true. So there is now more and more rumours floating around that he's in training at the moment. I don't know if he's training with the team or not, but still, I think the likelihood is he's going to be out and injured. But you never know. There's still maybe a still a slight chance he can be involved.
Yeah, I've got a slight feeling he's going to be on the bench. I've got a slight feeling, and that'll be a major boost for the team as well. Imagine going into the last 20 minutes and bringing on Lucas Bergvall. That'll be something special. But look, let's get into this predicted lineup. 4-2-3-1 in goal is obviously going to be Vicario. He's done well in the Europa League. Obviously, poor performances in the league of late. Kinski's come in and done a good job. Kinski is obviously ineligible for the Europa League, and even if he wasn't, Vicario would be in goal. So, Big Vic.
Yeah, of course, and he has been good in Europa. I think people, talk about his recent form when it comes to the Premier League, and he's been really poor. But fair play to him. I think the Europa League has been great, and we know. I think it's Man United. He made his return, didn't he? That was his return game. He was pretty good in that game as well. So back in Big Vic to have a strong performance here.
Right back, we are going to look at Pedro Porro, fully rested on Friday night, and he has been incredible for us recently, and he could be the difference maker in this game with his ball playing ability. We've seen how important he's been for us in this Europa League run and throughout the course of the season. Pedro Porro, man, what a player.
He's our most creative player now.
Yeah,
and that's the reality. So it's absolutely vital that he's on his game, because I think he's going to be our most crucial player when it comes to actually providing good quality delivery into that final third. I think that's Porro. He's the one you can rely on, and especially if we are going to have Solanke and Richarlison up front, which we'll talk about. If that is going to be the case, I think even more so you need that delivery from Porro. And as you say, in this Europa League run, he's been brilliant. I think he's had a really good end to the season, so he's a man on form.
Yeah, there's been a few suggestions that Porro could potentially play the 10 with Spence playing at right back.
He was asked about it. I mean, I think he said he has to keep all options open, but. I guess he just wants to keep United guessing in terms of what exactly he's going to do. I don't know. I think for someone like Porro, he would have to maybe play I wouldn't say a 10, but maybe an 8. Or I don't know if he could be in the 10, but maybe if he just has him floating around. But I think if you play him if he was to play in midfield or right-sided number 8, and you just get him picking the ball up and then floating in that half space and getting him to cross it.
Pretty much what he does in this position anyway, as an inverted right back.
I mean, yeah. And he doesn't have to track all the way back to the fullback. So I mean, maybe, but obviously it's a big adjustment for a massive game, isn't it?
It is. I feel like right back will be the best course of action to play him, just so you can get those balls from deep. They've been so vital to us. I know Maddison ain't going to be on the other end of it, and that's what's kind of like been such a difference maker in Maddison making those late runs in behind and Porro picking him out. But it's going to have to be someone else this time. So Porro right back, right centre back will obviously be Cuti Romero. He's obviously been so vital for us in these 2 legs over Frankfurt and Bodo as well. And he's the one that has been there, done it, got the trophies. So he's going to have to guide a lot of these players through.
Yeah, and I think he's really stepped up in this Europa League run. I think if he's leaving or not, I think he definitely is trying all his utmost to leave with a trophy in the bag. And I think obviously that experience of how he's performed in these big tournaments, big finals, will definitely stand him in good stead here. And I think in the lead up to it, he's shown how good he can be and how good he is. And that's something we haven't seen enough for any Tottenham fans' liking. But he's definitely showing it in this Europa League run, and I think he's been fantastic. And I think hopefully when he looks at Højlund, he should be licking his lips.
Yeah, absolutely. Romero, right centre back. Left centre back is obviously going to be the great Mickey van de Ven. He's kept him completely on ice since his return from injury, and let's hope it stands him in good stead for Wednesday night.
Yeah, and I think that partnership with Romero van de Ven has really come together again. We know that they've developed such a good understanding with each other, and I think hopefully the runs in behind aren't going to be used too much in this game. I do think where he could get his rule work really cut out is potentially with Diallo coming on that side. He's got to make sure Diallo's not influencing the game, and he's matching him stride for stride. But I'm kind of confident he can shut that door.
So that's obviously a back pairing of Romero and Van de Ven. At left back, it will be Destiny Udogie, who's also been absolutely brilliant. These 4 players as a back line together have been sensational since returning for the Europa League run, and let's hope for more of the same.
Yeah, as a unit, they've been fantastic, and I think that has been the real thing, because I think it's not been scintillating football that's taken us through. I think obviously we've played quite well at times, but it hasn't been like the unbelievable one-touch football or clinical finishing that's kind of taken us where we are. It's that back line being as good as they've been. That is what's been the deal breaker, and I think Doggy is not he's been brilliant as well. He's been fantastic. He's obviously ousted Spence out of that left back spot fair and square. And obviously we mentioned Diallo before. He's going to be up against him. We know that a Doggy, when he's at his best in this kind of form like he's playing now, he can pocket some of the best wingers in the league, and he's going to have to do the same against Diallo, because he's obviously Bruno's a big threat, but he's one of their main threats as well. So we know how good he can be. What
I've been really impressed with the Doggy is his ability just to bulldoze his way through there, use his brute physicality, get to the byline, and just create carnage in the opposition box as well. And I think he's been doing that so well recently. Moving into the midfield, looking at the double pivot, the first player we're going to talk about is Rodrigo Bentancur. Again, this Europa League run, I think he's been fantastic. There's been a lot of claims against Bentancur this year, including from myself, saying in the big games he hasn't shown up. But more recently, in the big games against Frankfurt and against Bodo, I think he's been spectacular.
Yeah, and another experienced player who's seemed to finding his best form at the moment. And we know in this kind of game, they're going to have probably a double pivot, most likely of Casemiro and Ugarte. And Bentancur's, they're a very physical midfield pairing. And also when you got Bruno there floating around, looking to pick up difficult spaces for you, I think Bentancur is going to be so vital when in terms of his positioning and how he's been playing, getting to those levels, making sure we're dominating that middle of the park, because I think that's an area they back themselves. That's the one area I think United look at and think maybe we have the advantage. I think so. Bentancur is going to have to be so vital there.
And alongside Bentancur, it will be Yves Bissouma, favoured obviously in the 2 legs against Bodo. And I think these guys provide some really good protection for that back line, which is going to be needed with the likes of Bruno and Ahmad in the team that can hurt any team. And look, I've been one that has been a massive critic of Bissouma for a while now. But I think since coming in against Bodo, he's done himself, a bit of glimmer of hope potentially to his Spurs career. But I still think, look, let's just see if he performs in this game. But he's definitely going to play.
Yeah, it's coming from the cold, and I do think this is a player. Look, we do know there's a player in Bissouma when he's at his best, when he's in a confident mood, there's a very, very good central midfielder in there. And obviously we really like last season, when at the beginning of the season, where we've seen just in flashes at Tottenham how good he can be. The big frustration is it seems to be only when he wants to turn up, he kind of turns up. And I think that's been the big frustration, getting a consistent level of good performance out of him. But maybe these big games, when he's been called upon, he's kind of just made sure he's switched on. He's concentrating. And when he's doing that, he's a phenomenal player. He really can be. And he's a player that was one of the most sought-after midfielders when we signed him. Yeah. There was a reason for that. So I think for a final, I know there have been some big games where he's let us down, but I think for a final, I think if he's as switched on as he has been, like he has in the semis and the quarters, I think it's going to be hopefully another good performance from Eve.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope so anyway, because it's very hit and miss with Basuma which way it's going to go. But I'm just hoping he has that kind of air of professionalism that he had in the Bodo 2 legs against Bodo. On the right-hand side of the attack, we are going to go for Brennan Johnson. And, a lot of people saying, oh, Brennan shouldn't start. Brennan's not playing too well. He hasn't played well all season. But for me, when you look at Brennan Johnson, when you look at the job he's done this season, these kind of assets can be invaluable in a final. Putting the ball in the back of the net, arriving at the right time in the box, being at the right place at the right time. And in a final, you just need to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's what Brennan Johnson does.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that for this kind of fixture, I think maybe you just need someone right place, right time at that back post, always make that runs. And that's kind of can be invaluable, especially in these big games. Someone who kind of has a knack for knowing where to be, and not just the knack, the timing. He's been working on it for so long. He's our top goal scorer, and he might not be involved in a lot of the game, but he will pop up hopefully when we need him. And if it's not working, you've always got players like Odebear and Tell to come on if need be. But I think we should start him. He's obviously scored against Bodo, and I think in the away game you saw how disciplined he was defensively. And we're going to need that kind of Brennan Johnson again in this game. And I think when you've got him and you've got Solanke, Richarlison, and whatever, you just need to if you put as many crosses in the box as possible, then you've got a really good chance of scoring.
Yeah. Left-hand side of the attack, we are going to go for our captain, our talisman, Son Heung-min. And Sonny, you know what? He hasn't been performing great recently, but I felt like, he had a bit of a different element about him in the first half against Aston Villa. He showed a good turn of pace. Probably could have had a goal as well. Was definitely our best outlet, and I think we're going to need him in that form for the game against Manchester United.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he was looking a lot quicker, a bit sharper in that first half. And obviously he's our captain. It's such a big game. He's saying he's been basically gearing up for this game. Like he's been trying so hard to be fit for this game. Yeah. And I think we saw flashes of it against Villa, and I think I saw enough in that performance to suggest he needs to be on that left-hand side, and he's going to really, be at his best. And hasn't been a great season for him, just like for a lot of the players, but could have an amazing finish. And I'm just imagine Sonny lifting that trophy on Wednesday. What a special moment that would be. And I think if he can be involved, scoring the winner, assisting, whatever it is, how amazing that I think he can do it. And I think Tell and Odebear and more, unfortunately, they just haven't really done it. And so I think Son has to start.
Yeah, agreed. And he's the reality is he's still got the most amount of quality in this squad. He is the one that can make the real difference, in my opinion. And the way he's coming into it, saying this is literally the biggest day of his life, biggest day of his career. Let's hope he plays like it, and I believe he will do. Moving into the two positions now, the 10 and the 9. So in the 10, we are going to go for Dominic Solanke. I don't think it's going to be maybe a natural 10. I think maybe they'll be a bit closer to each other than maybe our 10s usually are. But
9.5.
Yeah. So I think Solanke, I think he'll just provide that physical edge. And when you're talking about trying to go for Man United and trying to press them, I think to have players like Solanke and Richarlison in the same team, I think could be a bit invaluable to us.
Yeah, I agree. And I think having that kind of player who can protect the ball, shield the ball, bring other players into play, but also can get into the box, can provide an aerial threat. I think Also, a player who works as hard as he does the hard yards. You got no kind of doubt he's going to do the job and put his foot in when need be. Also, from set pieces, how valuable that could be, because we heard Alice say they're not great from set pieces. Having that aerial threat there is going to be very, very valuable. So obviously Solanke has to start, but we're going him just to be a tiny bit deeper than Richarlison, just because he's better in those kind of areas.
And then to make up that final 11 for Wednesday in Bilbao, we are going to go for Richarlison up top. And like I mentioned before with Solanke, I did give you a bit of a tease saying Richarlison as well. But look, with Richarlison, whatever you want to say about him, he as well knows how to put the ball in the back of the net, although he might need a few chances to do that.
Yeah, but he's been scoring a few goals recently, looking threatening. I think he's been looking quite good in the last few weeks. And he's just also the type of player in this kind of scenario who you could step up, put his head where it hurts, and get that moment, find a moment. He's obviously good in the air. We know he's a fox in the box. He just sniffs out opportunities. And I think that dual threat of Solanke and Richarlison, especially when you're thinking set pieces, that could be a real avenue of where we can hurt Man United. And I've just got this feeling if Richarlison is going to be leaving, could he be leaving having scored the winner in a Europa League final?
That would be quite something.
I kind of feel that. I kind of feel that might happen.
You got a feeling?
Yeah, I got a feeling it's going to be Richie scoring the winner.
I think you should put money on that.
I'm going to put money on it. Sometimes you get these feelings,
So this is our predicted lineup going into the Europa League final. Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro right back, Destiny Udogie left back, Mickey van der Ven and Kuti Romero as a back two, Bentancur and Basuma in the double pivot, Brennan Johnson on the right wing, Son Heung-min on the left wing, with Solanke and Richarlison up top, with Solanke just a bit deeper. I'm going for 1-0 to Spurs. Sim is going for 3-1 to Spurs. No negativity, guys. No talk of Ange. No talk of this. No talk of that. It's time to be together. It's time to go to this final as one. And it's time to bring home that trophy, guys. But that is our predicted lineup. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Richarlison and Solanke should be starting in the same team together? Or do you feel like it could be someone else in the 10? Do let us know in the comment section below. The lines are open, guys, if you do want to call in and have your say on the big game on the weekend. On Wednesday night. West Ham have just got a goal back, by the way. 11 minutes have been added on at the end of this Nottingham Forest West Ham.
Where did those 10 minutes yesterday come from in the final? I
don't know about yesterday, but this one is called the VAR check was so long.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. I did notice that. I don't know what took him so long. Isaac is out. Is he?
For the Arsenal game, yeah, I heard that.
Oh, that's gutting.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to win then.
All right, who are we bringing on first? Ez.
Hello, boys.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
All good, all good. How's things?
Yeah, you know what? Just nerves are starting to creep up on me, man. What a game we have to contend with on Wednesday. I mean, how are you kind of keeping? How are you staying sane in this moment in time?
I'm not, mate. I am going absolutely mental.
Talk to me about your feelings, man. Talk to me.
Oh, I honestly think we've got this. I honestly think we can win this game. Like I said, was it last night before?
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got hardly any defenders left. So, although we don't have many most of our midfielders are out, the important ones, I feel like we've got enough, especially if they're playing a left back at centre back.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're going to have enough about us. I think we've definitely conceded. We will, because that's what we do. It's who we are, mate. But yeah, we 100% we've got this, man. I stick to 2-1 still.
You say we always concede. We went out to Frankfurt. We went out to Germany, took home a 1-0 win. Went out to Bodo.
We did.
We went out to Bodo, didn't concede there as well. They always score at home. So is there nothing in those two games to suggest that we can actually keep the back door shut on Wednesday night?
No, we absolutely can, but I mean, Man United is a different kettle of fish, isn't it? They're on a whole different level to the teams that we have played so far. I mean, again, don't get me wrong. Teams like Bodo, they were there because they deserve to be there, but the players that they've got aren't on the same level as United. I think they will score, but it will be one goal. It'll only be one they score.
Who worries you on that United team?
Bruno. That's it. Only Bruno.
So it's a case of just keeping that guy quiet. and Spurs are going to go
That's
lift
it.
that trophy.
Exactly that. And then I mean, if we have Bentancur and Bissouma there, I feel like between the two of them, they can keep it quiet.
When you think about what our chances are for winning, what percentage would you put on it?
Oh, 65, 70%.
Wow.
70% Tottenham.
Yeah.
Look at that
100%.
confidence.
I'm Tottenham till I die, man. And until the final whistle and we've lost, I'll believe we can win.
Yeah.
Every game, don't matter who we play, I will believe we can win until that final whistle goes.
Go on. No, you go.
No, I was going to say if we were to win that, how were you? I don't know. Apologies, I don't know how old you are, but I don't know if you were alive when we last won a European trophy. But tell me how much that would mean to you, like if we were to take home that trophy.
It would mean absolutely everything. I mean, I've never seen that. I'm 34, so that's 6 years before I was born. We last won a European trophy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've stuck with Ange this whole season, and everybody's saying Ange out. But I was saying he needs to stay. I was one of those people at the beginning of the season saying I would take 17th for the trophy, knowing full well what it meant.
Yeah.
So looking at the league table and where we are now, that's what I expected if we're going to get 17th in the trophy.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. Although I'm not happy with our league position, I'm happy with where we are.
Yeah.
I think if we wins and they keep him on next year, it can only be better because this team has suffered so much this year.
You can only hope, right? We can only live in hope that's true. But
100%.
Talk to me about the lineup on Wednesday night. We just gave you our predicted lineup. Do you agree with it? Is there anything you disagree with?
I do. The only thing I don't agree with, although I think it would be well good, is Solanke and Richarlison up top together.
Yeah.
Because if it gets to the point where one of those has to come off, then who do you put on to replace one of them?
Yeah. Well, I guess you do have Tell there.
Yeah, Tell's not really a number 9, is he? He's
Yeah.
not really a central player. He's better out wide. That would be my concern.
So who would you start in the 10 then? If you
honestly, I would start Odobert there. I would. Just because if it doesn't work and you've got to bring someone else on, yeah, okay, we can bring on Solanke off the bench or Richarlison off the bench, whoever's not going to start. But playing them both, especially if it goes to penalties, he's going to have to take one of them off eventually. Then we'd probably lose our best bets in penalty shootout. So I'd rather finish with them both than start with them both.
Where are you watching the game on Wednesday?
I'll be watching it at home with the old man.
How many beers are you going to have to get through just to settle the nerves beforehand?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It'll probably get to the point where I'll probably be on the floor. Let's put it that way.
Last time we won a trophy, were you watching it with your old man?
Yeah. We was watching the Carabao Cup final. We watched that with my uncle, a Chelsea fan. So he's coming here to watch this with us. On Wednesday.
I see. Is he ready to stick the knife in, or is he respectful?
He wants us to lose.
Yeah.
he wants us to lose. He don't want us to win.
Well, you got to make sure. I don't know if the living room is set up in the same way as it was in 2008, but if it is, you have to sit in the same seats that you sat in 2008.
100%. 100%. We got to find a way to do it. Did you not know, by the way, if Arsenal lose tomorrow or tonight, they could finish 4th.
Yeah, they really could.
I don't want to hear another Arsenal fan saying we finished 3rd in a 2-horse race if they finish 4th in a 2-horse race.
Yeah, it'll be quite something, to be fair.
Well, I guess could you even call it a 2-horse race this year? They were never really in the race, were they?
No, I mean
they was far and away better than anyone else.
Well, what was the closest they got? 9 points?
No, it got
closer than that.
Closer than that.
When?
I'm sure it got closer.
By December, they were 9 points away.
I'm sure it got closer than that because they didn't have games in hand and stuff, and then they kept bottling it.
Yeah, they kept bottling it, so they never really got close.
But they were the ones closest.
Yeah, but how can you call it a race when you're 9 points behind?
Well, how close did we get to Leicester?
We were when we beat Stoke. I think
we were 2 points behind.
We were 5 points. We were 2 points.
Was it 5 points?
When we lost to them in January, that 1-0 loss, I think we were 5 points behind them then. Top. When we beat Stoke 4-0, I think we went 5 points behind.
Wasn't there 1 week where Arsenal went within like 6 points of it?
This season?
Yeah.
God, I don't know.
Anyway, this
Yeah,
ain't
no,
about
I'm sure they was
Arsenal.
in a couple of points.
This ain't about Arsenal. This is about Tottenham.
No,
in a
forget the scum.
exactly. Forget them. Forget them. They are going to be watching the game from behind their couch, absolutely shitting themselves if Spurs actually go and do the job where they're sitting there with absolutely nothing to their name. But
Yes.
give me your score prediction.
2-1 again. Still
2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
All right.
Sonny's going to grab the winner.
Sonny.
I love that. It'll
Yes.
be so.
Lifting that
He'll
trophy.
would actually break down in tears if he does score the winner. But
So will I.
yeah, so will I as well. To be fair. But yeah, try keep sane from now until Wednesday night. But thank you for coming on today, mate.
And you boys, safe trip over the next couple of days, and I hope you lot enjoy it out there.
Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate. Up the Spurs.
Take
Come
it.
on. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to Dan E in the house. How you doing, Dan?
I'm all right, yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm bloody nervous, mate, going into this game on Wednesday. How are you holding up?
Yeah, the nervous is there, but I don't think I've quite got the passion for it yet.
No?
It'll probably sink in. It'll probably sink in on Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's just where a lot of this season has just dragged me down that hard that I am struggling for this. I won't deny it. But when it comes to the night, I'll be up for it, same as the rest of us. And we need to win this, come love nor money.
Do you believe we will?
It's going to be tight, but you know what? I can see this game going two ways. One of two ways, no in between. I think it's either going to be like the Spurs-West Ham game, where it's just an awful game, or you're going to see a mad 4-3 game there, basically.
Who does it favour, though, if it goes like 4-3 and an end-to-end game?
I think we've got the slightly better shout, basically,
Yeah.
if we play the right way. I mean, up front, I'd say it's definitely our weakest point. I mean, goal scorers there are few and far between. I mean, for me, I don't rate Johnson as a player in any means or manner, but he does get into the positions and he does score a tap-in. So
Yeah.
for me, he's got to start. He's
Yeah.
our top scorer.
Yeah.
I don't rate him in any other way, but he's got to start.
Yeah.
We haven't got a number 10, so we've got no creativity up there. So I don't think we should play with a 10 as such, like a Maddison playmaker, if anything.
So how do you think we should play it?
I would possibly put Son there and try and use him as more of a shadow striker, basically, like we used to do with Dele Alli.
What, with Tell
And
on the
then have
left?
No,
Or Richarlison on the left?
Richarlison on the left. Tell not a chance. He's been terrible. And up front, obviously, go Solanke. And I think what we're going to have to do on this one, we've got to get some creativity on there. I think the place we can get the bit of creativity from is either Porro from the back, because he does put a good long ball in, or our closest one to a bit of creativity there, who has played as sort of playmaker when he did in Juventus, is Bentancur, because he's about the only other one that I think has got a clean, direct pass to him. So we're going to have to bring our playmaking back further as such, and then take it from there, I think is where we're going to have to go.
Yeah, it's interesting about Bentancur because Bielsa actually, manager of Uruguay, did say, he's just as good as a 6, as an 8, as a 10. So do you think there's a case for Bentancur as the 10?
Or who would play in the you're starting Gray?
Well, Sarr would have to be fit, wouldn't he?
Yeah, have to be exactly. So I don't know about Bentancur in the 10. Whenever I've seen him a bit further forward for us recently, I don't know, he seems more comfortable kind of around the halfway line. He doesn't really seem as comfortable in the final third.
Dan, you mentioned before, you're not feeling those nerves as of yet, and the season has brought you down.
Not yet.
And I completely understand where you're coming from, because I think the season has brought us all down, to be honest, and the inquest with Ange out, all this kind of rubbish going into the game. But is it not a time now where we just forget about what's happened all season and all just come together for the cause of bringing home a trophy?
I totally agree with that. I mean, Ange out, it's done and dusted as far as I'm concerned. Whether he wins this or not, he's gone.
Yeah.
And I'll put a 99% bet on that. I'm sure he has got to be gone. But now it's right. The season's done. The season's dusted. Past few games have been irrelevant to me anyway. Yes, wanted to win them, but did I really care? I can't say I did, because finishing 15th or 17th is what's the difference to me? Two
Yeah.
places, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
This game, the thing is with this game for me, it's not even about winning the cup. It's not even about winning the trophy. It's the after effects that are going to be more important for Tottenham overall. Yep, we're going to love it if we win the trophy and everything. We all want to do it. But it's not that is the main thing. It's the after effects. If we don't go and win this club is destroyed for the next 2 to 5 years. Easy.
Yeah.
We won't be able to get a decent manager in. We won't have the money to spend. We won't be able to attract players. Any decent players we've got are going to want to go. We are going to be in big, big trouble if we do not win this.
Yeah.
If we win it, we can basically start again. And people talk about a project and a process. Just because you get rid of the manager doesn't mean that it's a whole new start of a process or a project or whatever else. If we don't win this, we are destroyed as a club for a very long time. Whereas with Man U, if they don't win it, they'll still go out and pay the wages. They'll still go out and buy the players. They'll still be able to attract players with a name. They'll be able to recover a lot easier than we would. If we don't win this, it is not looking good.
You think that's true? I think they're going to be in a lot more trouble financially if they don't win it than we are, because our finances are in a better place. They're not even paying for staff to come to the games. Like, they're sacking people left, right, and centre. Like, do you not think financially they're in a lot worse place, regardless of if in terms of losing this final? Like, it financially means a lot more to them than to us.
Financially, in some ways, you can say we're probably one of the best clubs out there financially. We're one of the only clubs that can actually support ourselves without having to sell players, without having to win anything, without having to finish high in the league. We can still support ourselves. The thing is with Man U, they are, the biggest team in the world, if not the top 3 biggest team in the world, let's say.
Yeah.
They're going to have income no matter what. And the thing is with Man U, they will go and spend money. They always do. Look at the wages they pay for players. They'll pay a lot more than we will.
That's why they're in the position they're in, though.
But they will still go and do it because they're a winning club. That is what they do. Spurs don't go and do that. And without that extra money that we're going to need from this through Champions League and everything else, Mr. Levy is not going to go out there and start spending serious money when he's had a loss of over how many millions this season and finished 17th and everything else and got nothing to show for it. Then we might as well be looked at, and we might as well just go and buy another load of kids. And then if we really ain't careful, we're going to be fighting relegation again. I mean, Man U might be broke, whatever else, this and that, but I guarantee you they still spend more wages and they still spend more money than us. It's what Man U do. They always have done.
Dan, you've been talking about the season, how bad it's been and everything. But if we were to win that trophy on Wednesday, how much would that mean to you? Like, would it be a special day for you, or because of how bad the season's gone, is it hard to just forget that?
It'd be a special day for any of us. Of course it will. I want to win this no matter what. We need Spurs to win something. If we go and win this and then Angie's gone, I can say at the end, do you know what? You was a terrible manager. You're not good enough for the Premier League. You got us a cup. Fair play, mate. There's your extra $1 million bonus. Thanks a lot. See you later. And get the next one in. And I can put the season aside. Whether you want to put the season aside or not, that one's pretty much irrelevant, because that's what you've got to do when you start the next season. You've got to look at what you've done wrong and try and fix it for the next one. We can't fix what has happened now. It's done. It's dusted. It's over. The only thing we have a shout in is the future, and that is this game on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a weird one with how bad the season's been, but if we do go and win that trophy, this season's always going to be looked back on in a positive light as opposed to a negative light, isn't it?
It is going to be that sort of thing where you are just going to be able to put it aside because of who we are. Tottenham absolutely win nothing ever, and you are just going to be able to put it aside basically and say, do you know what? Let the season go on. We won the Europa. We won something. But for the manager side of it, he still has to go no matter what. Because for me, he's not good enough. But on the winning side of it, I totally agree with you. If we go and win that, I will be able to forget the season basically and just say we won something. And it'd be a good dig I can have with a couple of my mates as well.
Are you going to Bilbao, Dan?
No, me and my mate were trying to sort it out, but the way it worked out easiest but hardest in its way was going to France and then going from there by car and everywhere. And when it came down to it, I just, you know what, I can't be bothered. I'll just get a couple of beers and watch it indoors. And the prices out there was absolutely shocking as well.
It is. It's astronomical. It really is.
Even in the small places, it was like £600 a night and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm not paying that much money.
Yeah, it's
not
madness.
that much. But I think we can get this 2-1. I think we will win this. There's going to be a couple of players on theirs we definitely got to watch for experience. I mean, Fernandes, quality player, quite underrated in my opinion. I mean, don't think he's no world-class player or no, but a very, very good player. And other ones like Casemiro as well, he's got experience. And Man U seem to have it in their DNA to win things. They always have. I mean, look at their past couple of seasons.
Yeah, it's true.
They've been
even
terrible,
in their worst
and
moments, they do it.
Win.
Yeah,
exactly. And other clubs do it. And us in our best times, we haven't won anything. In a way, for me, this one has got us winning written all over it. We can't ever win anything. We don't ever get anything right. And the season we actually go and do something is the season we finish 17th, have the worst league ever, have the worst manager ever at the club, one of the worst in the Premier League, in my opinion, ever. And everything just goes totally wrong. And we finish 17th and then win the cup and get in the Champions League and that. To me, that's just got Spurs written all over it. If it was going to happen anyway, I don't think anyone is going to be surprised at the end of the season that it did happen this way with Tottenham.
It would be just classic Spurs. It's classic Spurs. Finish 17th. Everyone's up in arms. Everyone's like, get him out, get him out, get him out. And then we go and win a trophy at the end of it. It's just classic, isn't it?
And get in the Champions League as well. And you know that's good. That is going to piss some people off in a big, big way.
Yeah, I mean, it already has, just being Spurs Man United in a final. What do you make out of that? Because, like, Wenger's coming out, Keys and Gray, multiple Gooners keep coming out and talking about it. I mean, is it just because it's Spurs United in the final, or is there some legitimacy to what they're saying?
I can see a bit of legit for it. Like, how can you go and put like 16th and 17th in the final in the Champions League? It doesn't sound right. But at the end of the day, you win that Europa, you get in the Champions League. Yeah. So even if you get relegated and you win that Europa, you've earned your spot in there.
Yeah.
We've had the easiest walk through there by one team. But either way, we've still had to win the games with the teams we played against. Man U have definitely had it harder, I'd say. The fact that we've beaten them 3 times this season, I think that's totally irrelevant. That's going to mean absolutely nothing. Same as these past 2 games we've lost. I don't think that's going to have any effect on the final at all, because momentum at Spurs hasn't been a word this year, has it?
Yeah.
So whether we won these last 2 games 10-0 or lost them 10-0, I don't think it would have had any effect on the final.
Mm. Yeah. And do you think... given what Ange and Amram have been saying going into this game, maybe just going into this final, it's going to mean just that little bit more to us?
I just want to hope that there's that subtle difference between wanting it more and being desperate. If we go in there being desperate, then we're in trouble. If we go in there wanting it more, which I think the players are going to go out there, and this is a game where you'll see them play for themselves. Whether they do it for the right reasons, wrong reasons, whatever, I really don't care as long as they win the bloody game.
Yeah.
I think we call it 55-45 for me, that I think Spurs are going to get this one.
That's still bloody tight, though. Too tight for my likings. But
both teams are going to concede.
Yeah.
They're both conceding all the time. We can score a goal. They can score a goal. That's what I mean. It could be a 1-1 game that just drags all the way through. Or it could end up a 4-3 game. I don't think there's going to be no in-betweener with it. But I think we can just about have the edge on it.
Yeah. Do the second legs out in Frankfurt and out in Bodo not give you more confidence that, you know, Spurs can have a more kind of calm and measured display and get the job done from a good defensive standpoint as well?
From that point, are we even playing a European game now?
Yeah.
We're not. We're playing another Premier League team now, basically.
Mm.
So is Ange going to go back to his Premier League tactics, or is he going to stick more with his European tactics of the past 2 games and be that little bit more pragmatic?
Well, it'll be interesting
which
way is the better way to go, because Man United have seemed to have done much better in Europe than they've done in the league, as have we. But then again, we play a lot better when we're sitting off a bit of a team and you know, countering them. But then on the other side of that, we've beaten Manchester United in a few different ways this season.
Yeah, that's the thing. What way is he going to do it? I mean, for me, I've said it for 18 months now. We should be playing a 3-4-1-2 or 3-4-2-1 or 5 at the back, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
This team is much better built for a counter-attack. And every game that we have played and actually looked good in, it's been direct ball counter-attack football.
Yeah.
And I think that is the way we can do it. Again, with the playmaking as such, the creating things, I think we've got to do it a bit deeper using Porro and Bentancur. Because anyone else up front, you can't say we've got a creative player there. We haven't even got anyone who can cross a ball.
Maybe Pedro.
Well, give me half a chance I'd have had Pedro up on the right wing through the season, but that's just an opinion. He is the only player we've got who can actually cross a ball, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the personnel with Sonny on the left and Brennan, I mean, you look at Brennan last season, he got like 10, 11 assists or whatever it is, and that's all just completely dried up this season. I'm not sure where that kind of element to his game has gone because he was putting decent crosses in last season.
Again, he gets in there for the moment and he taps it in the back of the net. I don't rate him as a player at all, but he's done his job this season. That's why I feel he does need to start there, because if anyone can... Where we haven't got no one who can cross the ball properly, as all we need is someone on the side to basically do a FIFA, drill it across, and just hope that Johnson's there to put it in the back of the net in the corner. When it comes to actually crossing the ball, Son can't cross come love nor money. He never could. His passing isn't great either. That's why, for me, he was never a winger. He was always an inside forward. Johnson can't cross or pass come love nor money. Kulusevski's not going to be there. I mean, Odobert, Tell... neither of them can pass or cross either from what they've played. We haven't got anyone who can consistently put a good cross in there or even a pass.
Well,
so basically, if we're going to play it out wide on the side, then just drill it across, and Johnson is going to be the one that we need there for it.
All right, Dan, let's hope that we can do the business. I'm happy to hear that the nerves haven't set in yet, but I guarantee you by Tuesday, Wednesday morning, you'll definitely be getting them, that's for sure.
Oh, of course. Otherwise, it'll make the rest of my weekend a nightmare. I'll think about it when it comes to the day. All right, then. Take care, you lot.
Cheers, Dan. Big up,
Take
Dan. Thanks for coming on, mate. All right, let's keep going. And I think there was a super chat here just before we do. Jordan Maldonado, and he says, Ben appears to be quite nervous. Please relax, Ben. Dr. Onana will alleviate your anxiety.
Relax,
I can't calm down, man.
Chill.
It's just a small matter of a cup final, man.
It's all good.
It's a small matter of a cup final. Quite bit of a development in this Fulham game. Brentford were 2-1 up, and now they're 3-2 down.
Yeah.
And Wilson and Tom Cairney getting the goals within the space of 2 minutes, which is ending Brentford's season not in a great fashion. But anyway, let's get Farhan on. How you doing, Farhan? I can't hear you. You weren't on mute because I could hear...
Oh, no, you can hear noise. Maybe it's just a... Can you speak?
Hello?
Hi. Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah, sorry about that. How are you guys doing?
Nervous, mate. Absolutely nervous.
That makes the both of us.
I can hear some feedback.
There's someone else, I think. There's someone else in the background. Can you mute yourselves, whoever it is? I think that's all right now.
Hello?
Yeah, all good.
That's better. How are your nerves? How are your nerves holding up, Farhan?
I'll tell you what, man. Like, whoever was on just before me, he said that he's not nervous yet until, like, the day before the game. It's been opposite for me. Ever since the second leg against Bodo, I didn't even care about the Premier League games at that point. Like, I knew what was going to happen. I knew that we weren't going to play our main team. It was all about this final, and, you know, it was just a shame that Kulusevski got injured. Like, for me, you think of the games we won against Man United this season, right? Kulusevski was electric. And for me, it's a big miss for me. Like, no Madison, no Kulusevski, no Bergvall, apparently, unless Ange is cooking up something, and he pulls another Bentancur. Remember from the Bournemouth game last season, where we had no idea, and then all of a sudden he pops up in the lineup.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed that happens, but I'm not
And also,
optimistic.
Farhan, I think Chelsea this season, we had no idea. Couti Romero, Mickey van de Ven, finally, they get surprise inclusions in the lineup, albeit they did break down pretty soon after that in the game. But, surprises can happen.
Yeah, and I mean the whole thing with Bergvall being in the media day, like the photo shoot. I mean, I don't think that really means anything because so was Dane Scarlett. But at the same time, you can dream.
Yeah.
But I think realistically, what I think as well, against Aston Villa, I think Solanke came on at the 10 role, if I'm not wrong. I think Richarlison went up top, Tell went on the
I
left.
think they kind of played up front together for the few minutes.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? Like Solanke playing off the striker.
Yeah, I think that's what we've predicted, and I think that is, maybe a way of making up for the lack of creativity we have is if we can just get those two in the box and just get loads of crosses in, cause as much kind of havoc as possible, essentially, and maybe that can go a long way to kind of making up for what's going to be a tough kind of team to break down without Maddison, Decky and Bergvall when it comes to breaking them down with threaded passes and things like that. We're just going to have to get the ball wide and put loads of balls in, I think.
I do agree with you on a certain extent. Personally, I'm of the mindset that I think we should put Son in the 10, purely because I think in terms of creativity, he's probably in our attack the best we have yet, fit. And secondly, I think the closer you get into goal, like, for example, Man United have Bruno Fernandes, who, we could be winning 2-0, and Bruno can just pop a shot out of nowhere, and, they could score, and then all of a sudden they're back in the game. The thing with Son for me is that when you have him really far on that left, I think we saw him against Villa, right? Like, he was very good, in my opinion, in that first half. He was constantly causing them trouble. But the issue is, on that left-hand side, he has to kind of play this role of being the facilitator. He gets the ball across to Odober or whoever, and the attack kind of breaks down. For me, you get him in that number 10 role, and I think with Bissouma and Bentancur behind him, he has less defensive duties, which will allow him to, kind of play as that second striker / number 10. And ultimately, I do think he'll go for Solanke. I think he wants Richarlison up top, which I do think that in terms of set pieces, which I think United are pretty bad from, personally. Like, even like against them this season, I think we scored like 2 or 3 goals from corners. There was Son's Olympico, and then I think Solanke scored one when we beat them 3-0. Like, that's what gives me confidence in the sense of I think United have a very error-prone backline. And, I'm not trying to jinx it, but Onana can be very questionable. And, we may not have Kulusevski, Madison, Bergvall, but it's possible they don't have Lenioro and Matthias de Ligt, which means that we could potentially be facing a back three of Mazurai, Maguire, and Lindelof, I guess, or Luke Shaw.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Which, I mean, you have to say that Richarlison and Solanke, they have to be fancying themselves against that back line in terms of physically as well. I think they can be got at. I think a player who will be huge in this game is actually Brennan Johnson.
Yeah.
Because I actually think a lot of people keep saying, why doesn't Brennan get as many assists as last season? I actually think it's actually tactical. I think Ange just specifically made it so that, okay, I want you to be at the end of the moves. Like, that's why instead of being the one who's putting the balls across the box, he's usually the one finishing it. And for me, as much as, yes, he can go missing for the whole game, he's also capable of just showing up out of nowhere and getting that goal. Like, for example, right, like that, we created a really good chance against Aston Villa. Son from the left, he gets the ball in. He gets it to Tell, and then Tell puts the ball in, and Odober kind of in those positions that Johnson sometimes occupies. I know that Odober was in the 10, but like kind of in that box to put it in, to tap it in. Like, he just tries to go for that back heel, and I don't think he could have done that much better. But at the same time, I feel like put Johnson there, and he maybe scores that. For me, I actually think he will score our winner. Like, if I do
feel
predict
like
us
that
to
as
win,
well,
I think I think it's Brennan Johnson. Like he'll be quiet for the entire game. We'll be frustrated. Like Johnson, what are you doing? And then out of nowhere, he'll just pop in with that final goal. And I really hope that's the case. I think after this season, like, I mean, he's been our top scorer. Like, I know you guys talk about our player of the season, right?
Yeah.
And listen, Brennan has been frustrating, and I've been a big critic of him as well. But I actually think him and Madison, for me, have been our most consistent players throughout the course of the whole season. Like,
What about Porro?
Poro has been really good, but I think the issue with Poro has been that there was this kind of stretch in the middle of the season where he's a victim of his own fitness almost because he was the only defender who was fit from our like first choice back line, right? So in that time period where we were just playing with Gray and Dragoshin or Ben Davies with Jet Spence, like when our defense was very lacking, not that it's a whole lot better now, but he was kind of part of that. So I think he was also very tired. Like you could see it. He was completely run down, having to play every game. I love Porro. Personally, for me, if you ask me, like one of my favorite players from this team is Pedro Porro. Like he always gives his 100%. He's so fit. Like even last season, remember, like after the Chelsea game, Van de Ven goes down injured, Udogi, Romero suspended. It was Pedro Porro who was there, and he has put in a big shift for us in both legs against Bodo. I thought he was good against Frankfurt as well, both legs. I think he scored the goal in the first leg. I think Paro has been amazing. And if you were to give him player of the season, I would have no problem with it. But for me, I think I would edge it to maybe a James Madison or a Brennan Johnson.
Farhan,
I don't know. What do you guys think?
For me, player of the season, I made the case for Madison the other day. I mean, I have given Madison some stick over the course of the season as well, but now it kind of is all said and done. I do think Madison probably deserves it with the impact that he's had throughout the course of the season. Bergvall, obviously, he deserves a lot of credit for the way he's broken into this team and pretty much has said, this position's mine and I'm not giving it away. So I'll give him a lot of credit for that. But I think in terms of, I agree with from terms of a consistency basis and an impact basis, I do think Madison probably should deserve player of the season.
Doesn't get the credit he deserves, Madison, I feel, from a lot of people.
Absolutely. I think you look at his numbers this season, like after Bruno Fernandes, he might have like the most goal contributions for like a midfielder in the Premier League. I could be totally wrong, but like
he's probably not far off.
I think it's something like mid-20s, like in all competitions.
Yeah.
Like he's been very crucial to us, and he's such a big miss. I think if we had him for the final, I would go as far as to say we were like 70% favorites to win that. But right now it's probably 50-50 for me.
50-50.
It's 50-50 for me as of right now. Yeah.
Do you remember 2008, the cup final, winning it?
It's way too young. I don't remember it, but I've seen like our run to that final, and I've seen like the clips for that. I've rewatched that game, and it's insane, right? You look at that team against that Chelsea team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nobody probably gave us a chance in hell of winning. Right, in terms of you kind of match those two teams up. But I think of it now, and we're going up against a team that's arguably just as shocking as us. It makes for an interesting narrative, and one that I don't want to be on the wrong side of history of. Like, I genuinely can't imagine what happens if we lose this game. Like 17th with, no trophy.
But
our best players probably wanting to lift.
But tell me,
I don't want to think about it.
if we do win, it'll be the first trophy you can remember then as a Tottenham fan. So how much?
Absolutely,
how much would that mean to you? How much would that mean to you? Tell me.
Everything. Like every single friend I have, kind of support, clubs that aren't Spurs. So to them, winning trophies isn't like a once in a lifetime thing. So for me to kind of see my team lift this trophy, for me to see Heung-min Son lift this trophy, because when I tell you that more than for myself, I want or even the Spurs fan, I want Son to lift that trophy, because even the interviews you see of him, right? He talks about how he called Harry Kane after he won his Bundesliga, and all I could think of is, man, please, I need this guy to win this trophy. And I think I think every Spurs fan has seen that dream. At the start of the season, Heung-min Son lifting that Europa League, probably tears in his eyes. Like, I know that I predict Johnson to score the winner. I hope it's Son. Like, that would be magical, absolutely magical.
Fairy tale
For
ending,
me.
wouldn't it? Fairy tale ending to winning a trophy. But what's your score prediction, Farhan, just before we let you go?
It's tough. I've gone kind of back and forth on this personally. I actually think it's going to be 3-2. I reckon we go up 2-0, and I think Man United make like what they've been doing in Europe this season. They go back to 2-2, and us we are going to be like basically losing it. We'll be like, oh my god, it's happening again. And then from some freak counter attack where we just win the ball back, ball goes across to Johnson and he puts it in, and then we just hold on for dear life. And I think it's gonna be a 3-2. And when that final whistle goes, let me tell you, it's gonna be insane. Like, I know you guys are going to Bilbao, and this is just my one request. If we do win, we need to hear "I'm Loving Big Ange" instead once more, just one more time. I'll be seeing it from out here, but
I hope so.
that has to happen.
Where did you say you ask him where he's watching it? No, where are you watching it?
Mate, I'm all the way in Tokyo, so I can't go to Bilbao, unfortunately. But I'll be watching it. It'll be like 4 a.m. for me when the game starts. But I'm looking forward to it as much as I am nervous. But fingers crossed, guys.
The flights from Tokyo to Bilbao are probably cheaper than the flights to London to Bilbao at this moment in time. But
honestly, maybe, yeah. And I think you guys did quite well, like booking everything in advance as much as you could, because otherwise it would have been daylight robbery. But hey, we might not get to see a time like this again.
But Farhan, I hope from now until the final whistle, your nerves hold up and you can stay somewhat sane. But thank you for coming on today.
Thanks, guys. Hope you guys have a good one.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Farhan. Spurs. Jock. How you doing, Jock?
What's up?
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. This is my second time here, yeah?
Yeah, I remember when you last called in.
Yeah.
How's your nerves holding up for the big day?
Bruv, I'm so scared. But at the same time, like, I've dreamt about the final twice.
And did we win?
Of course.
Both times?
100%.
Both times?
You know, Adi?
Did we won both times?
All of them.
How did we play?
The first one ended 4-0. Like
4-0?
Dead us, yeah.
Who scored?
And like Solanke scored all of them. It was crazy. It was crazy.
And the second one?
Solanke scored all of them.
All of them, both finals.
Yeah. Oh no, the second one ended in the halftime.
Who was winning?
Yeah, I woke up in the halftime.
Oh
like,
no.
It was 0-0. Yeah.
0-0. Oh, how can you go? Oh.
You woke up just in time for the second half.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, I feel like I have no negative. Like, I'm going to this final with like 100% positivity that we're winning this game.
100% positivity.
I've been saying this since last season ended. Yeah. I was like, the only problem over here that's gonna make us not win this is Chelsea qualifying for the Europa. Because Chelsea, what they do to us is crazy.
Forget
These
Chelsea.
guys beat us like every time.
Forget Chelsea. They're
So
in the Conference League.
when United won the FA Cup. Yeah, exactly. So like immediately Manchester United won the FA Cup. I was like, this is ours. This is ours. This has to be ours.
Do you have that feeling, Jock? Do you have that? Do you just have a feeling it's going to be our year?
100%. 100%. And if we win this, my first son is gonna be called Ange for real.
Ange.
Yeah.
Are you Ange in, Jock?
No.
You're Ange up. You're going to call your first son Ange.
Nah, because he's done the impossible.
Dad, why am I called Ange? You're named after a manager I wanted out.
Exactly. Because he's done something that no one else has done. For real. So he has to get the name. I know Sim, that's your guy, but then what he has done for us this season is crazy.
It's mad. I mean, it could be amazing.
Yeah, I was saying, United are going to the final 9, like 2 men less,
2-man
like
less.
2 men less. Yeah, because I know for sure Højlund will be starting, and Højlund against Van de Ven and Romero. We're not even
Done.
going to talk about it. It's done. And then their goalkeeper Onana. We just need three shots on target and the game is over. The game is over.
So, who do we start in like the number 10 position? Do you think?
See, I don't really care who starts in the 10th position because I know this is United. United can't do nothing for us. Put even Mikey Moore over there. I don't care. We're winning this game, man.
Put Ange in the 10.
Put Ange in the 10. I don't care. Put Ben in the 10. Put expressions.
Ben 10, get expressions, 100%. Get your boots on, Jock. We'll go a position for you.
Yeah, I'm a 6. I'm a 6.
Ah,
I think you guys should sign me next season.
Why not? Spurs are crying out for a 6.
Nah. But then you see me, my football days are over.
Oh, why? Why is that?
I gave up. It was too hard.
Now you just sit here telling people they're not good at football. No, I'm joking, just like in general. Now you just watch.
Jock, how much would it mean to you if we go and win this trophy? Because I remember last time we spoke, didn't you tell me that, everyone makes fun of you where you're from?
Everyone makes fun of me. My family makes fun of me. My younger brother is a Chelsea fan. Chelsea have won everything that they have been in.
Yeah.
They just won the Champions League some years ago. They won the Premier League with Conte. We got Conte left. So, nah. You see, and then the final.
And I'm guessing your brother's too young to remember when Tottenham beat them in the Carabao Cup final.
Exactly.
You don't even get that. You don't even get that.
Yeah, what was I saying?
No,
the final. The final. I'm gonna watch the final in a bar.
Okay.
Full of hundreds and hundreds of United fans. I'm gonna be the only Spurs.
Oh, you're gonna need to send us a video if Spurs win it.
If we don't win, I'll be dead. I'll be done.
But if we do win,
and if you do win, I would have done a big one, or like 100 people.
Are you gonna go in a Tottenham shirt?
Of course, it's ready. I haven't won it the whole season just for this.
See.
Yeah.
Tell me, Jock, have you got a hit list of people that you're going to go after if Spurs win this trophy?
I have friends. When Robbie was in our country last week.
Yeah,
Kenya,
I saw he was in Kenya. Yeah.
I wish he came after the final. I wish.
He timed it very purposefully.
I would have looked for him. Yeah.
He timed it on purpose not to be there.
Yeah, I would have looked for him and made sure I found him. And he would have hated it. Yeah, I have friends. Once I'm gonna sit close to them. I need like the 5 of them close to me when I'm watching the final.
You say you're going with a few friends to watch to the bar?
Yeah.
What's your score prediction, Jock?
My prediction is 3-1.
3-1. Same as Sim.
Huh?
Same as Sim. He said 3-1.
Yeah, my initial prediction was 3-0. But then because of our highline, they have to score, so it's like 3-1.
Jock, I wish you the best of luck on Wednesday in that bar. The only Tottenham fan in there.
If we're still speaking, if we're still speaking to you in the next fan show, it means things have probably gone quite well.
Of course.
Big up to you, Jock. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Nice one, Jock.
Absolutely brilliant.
What a guy.
Let's go to our next caller, YNK. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. How you doing, mate? You're on mute, I think. Hello?
Yeah, how you doing?
We're good, mate. How are you?
I'm pretty good. And you guys?
Yeah, I mean, getting nervous for the big day. How are you feeling towards it?
Guys, I'm feeling so nervous. Oh, you guys won't believe it.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from South Africa, Pretoria.
Okay. And is there a big screening of the game on Wednesday? Like, where are you watching it?
I'm actually watching it from my living room. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what, a few friends together? Or.
No, I don't actually know any Spurs fans where I'm from.
Damn.
Who do they support where you're from?
People like United, of course. Liverpool. My dad's actually a Liverpool fan. United and Liverpool and City. Yeah, that's it.
So you'll have a lot of bragging rights if we do win this one with all the United fans around there.
I don't think so, because like a lot of them are actually undermining the game. So I actually doubt that I'll have any bragging rights.
No, don't let them do it. That's mind games. It's a major European trophy, man. You got to stick it to them.
And I even see like the pundits where you guys are from. A lot of them are also undermining the game. Like Jamie Carragher, you have Arsene Wenger. All of them are actually undermining the game. So, yeah.
It's only because Tottenham are in the final. If it was a final between Manchester United and Arsenal, they'll be saying it's the biggest final on record.
That's exactly what I was thinking, because I know in the UK people love Arsenal and people love United. So, like, that's your guys' favorite. That's what I see.
Not us. We hate Arsenal.
Yeah, of course not you guys, but I know, like.
What do you reckon chances do we have of winning the final? Some people have said 50-50. Jock said 100%. What percentage would you give it?
I think I'd go 50-50 as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because, like, we've both had pretty poor seasons, and actually I'd say 50-60, because I think United have actually gotten to the final by pure luck, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree. Who's going to be that Spurs player to make the difference?
I really hope it's Sonny, to be fair.
Yeah.
I really hope it's Sonny, but I think it might be Johnson, because when the time comes, he's always there, and he gets into those positions to score the goals. So I actually think it'll be Johnson, to be fair.
I'm saying I've got a feeling it's Richarlison. I've got this sneaky feeling Richarlison's going to score the winner. It's just actually end on a high. He can leave as a hero.
Going to see the pigeon popped out in Bilbao.
Pigeon. If we win on Wednesday, I'm guessing it'll be the first Spurs trophy in your lifetime.
Definitely, because I grew up as a Liverpool fan.
No way. How can you grow up as a Liverpool fan and now you're a Spurs fan? How does that happen?
Because I decided to pick my own team.
I see.
Who
You went
picked
your
your
own
team
way.
before you?
Excuse me?
Who picked? You said you decided to pick your own team. Who picked yourself being a Liverpool fan then?
My dad.
Oh, I see. So you decided to go against your dad and support Tottenham Hotspur. I love that.
Yeah, my dad's a Liverpool fan, and my dad actually named me Gerrard.
No way.
Yeah, so I'm a Spurs fan.
And you gave that all up for Tottenham? All those trophies, all that success for this?
It's just like I've always felt like I have a love for the club. I don't know what it is. I feel like I was born to be a Spurs fan.
What year did you change?
What year did I change?
Mm.
I think I changed in 2019.
Champions League final when Spurs played Liverpool in the final.
Because I always loved Delhi, and I love Sonny, Kane.
Did you change before or after the final?
I changed. I won't lie to you guys. I changed after the final.
After the finals, after we lost to Liverpool, you then defected from Liverpool to join the losers Tottenham.
Yeah, I did.
So you got to celebrate a Champions League win, and then you decided to be a Spurs fan.
Well, I wasn't watching football.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
See, but now you are.
Yeah, and I don't regret any second of it, to be fair.
Yeah, well, to be fair, if I was you, I'd probably regret a little bit, but...
you were so close to just a lifetime of happiness.
Like, for me, personally, I'd say like it's happiness because like I really like watching the team. I'm in love with the players, the teams, everything. So for me,
So tell me
happiness.
how much it would mean to you then if we win on Wednesday and get that trophy.
It would absolutely mean everything, to be fair, because um obviously I've never seen Spurs win a trophy, hence me supporting in 2019. So for me, it would mean everything. Yeah.
Score prediction. You said, did you give us a score prediction?
No, I didn't. My score prediction, I actually think 1-0.
1-0, same as me.
1-0.
Yeah, I feel it's a 1-0. I just feel like we're going to have that vibe of Frankfurt away, Bodo away, and do that professional job.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I don't think we're going to take any big risks like how we do in the Premier League games.
Yeah.
I think we're going to go there and have a pretty professional performance. Yeah.
Big up, mate. Big up, mate. I call you Gerard. Big up, Gerard. Thank you for coming on, mate.
Don't let this slip now. Don't let this slip.
And always remember, come on, you Spurs!
Come on! Big up to you,
Big
Gerard.
up, Gerard.
And last caller of the day is going to be
Who else?
KPV.
Oh, great. Not you losers again.
Are you wearing an Italian job shirt, KPV?
Yes, I am.
Get with the programme. It's Big
Conte's
Ange,
not a
mate.
manager anymore,
It's
mate.
Big Ange, KPV.
Sorry, man. It's the only one I could find, man.
God.
It's for Vicario, mate. This is for Vicario.
All right, for Big Vic and for Don
Yeah.
Fabio's return.
Yeah, mate. And I believe I got it from your website. Remember? Oh, yeah. 3-2 for the Mercy. Yeah, I got it from. It was the 21-22 or 22-23 season. Like, I believe I got it. It was probably for one of the games or something. Like, yeah. So I've still got it. And don't you? I've still got that We Are Tottenham TV shirt. And as Brian did, the dust is not on it. So, yeah, it's all clean. And the streak is still continuing because I haven't lost in that shirt. So Brian has, but I haven't. I've still won
What
in
shirt?
that shirt.
Are you wearing it for the final?
Yeah, I just can't find it. I need to find it in my drawer cupboard. So it's a grey one. And everyone may not remember this, but I know who was in the studio for the Tottenham Brighton game. We lost 1-0. And I got a question right. And I believe I got a Tottenham shirt. It was about Quanshot. And who got the question right first? It was me. So
It's me.
Yeah.
It's me. It's KPV.
I got it right, man. Like, it was you and Henry TV, whatever his name is. Henry White, yeah.
Who, me?
It was him. Yeah, you and him were in the studio when we lost 1-0 to Brighton. Eric Dyer couldn't see. And
I think you might be
Trossard
right.
scored. Yeah, it was you. I know it is, mate. And I'm going to disagree with you, Ben. Kulu does deserve to be in the running for a player of the season. What are you on about? My brother.
You put him in his place. Put him in his place, Carl. Go on.
You
Tell
don't
him. You tell him.
disrespect Kulu, Ben. Don't disrespect my brother, okay?
Your brother.
He deserves to be running. After the goal, seen what he's done for us, scored against United at Old Trafford, and he deserved. Like,
You think
I heard
the K in his name is Carl? It's Kulu Patrick Vineyard, mate.
exactly, Kulu Patrick Vineyard blood. And enjoy the game, people who's going, because YNK, why did you support Liverpool and you changed to Tottenham? You're a dickhead, fella. Like,
Wait. He changed to Tottenham. Why is he a dickhead?
Yeah, like
He's a proper yid, mate.
no, it wasn't in the Champions League final because we were robbed in that final, and it was
That's not
never
his
a pen.
fault.
I've said it. We were robbed in that
He
final.
didn't give the penalty.
Well, he did because I know he's.
Carl, where are you watching the game on Wednesday?
I'm in a pub, mate, with Natalie Powell because she's
Natalie
got a
Powell.
gift for me from New York, and yeah, I'm not missing out on that New York gift she got for me. So yeah, and I'll be watching the pub, and yeah, and I'll be in the Half Moon. There's a pub down here called the Half Moon where I watched 2 Champions League finals. Yeah, so that pub is going to be brilliant. Gonna have dinner first and then go to the pub, and yeah, like going to be brilliant, full of Tottenham fans, and yeah, it's going to be amazing, mate. Like, we're going to do it, and why does Ben think we're going to win 1-0? Come on, Ben, more than that, mate. Like, we haven't beaten them 1-0 since, when was the last time we beat them 1-0? Anyone in the chat? When was the
season.
last time we beat United 1-0?
This
Someone
season.
check.
Literally the last game we played against Man United.
Yeah, that was in, yeah, but it's not going to be
in 2025, mate.
It was literally our last game against United. We were
1-0.
1-0.
Ben, it's going to be 3-0 again. I'm going 3-0 again. Old Trafford. Oh, Newcastle on the ball. Come on. Oh, shit. Like, yeah, I think 3-0 again. So, people, 3-0. I'm sticking with it. I said it on Friday, and I'm sticking with it. 3-0. Sim says 3-1, but come on, Sim.
KPV, there's one question I want to ask you.
Oh, for God's sake. I think I know this question.
What question do you
Come on,
think
get
it is?
to it.
Get to it, Ben. Go on, get to
Which
it.
question do you think it is? I want to know if he knows.
So put the guy out of his misery. Get to it.
Get to it, Ben.
I want to know if you've booked your spot at Brian Daigle's house for the World Cup yet.
Don't worry, I will. I need to, because I've already told my boss, and she knows, and that's the plan, mate. Because I'm planning to, because I'll see you out there, you two. I'll see you two there, because you done the watch along for Belgium, Canada, and unfortunately Davis missed that penalty because Courtois saved it, and Belgium were lucky to win that. So I cheered Canada on, but anyway, we all know Canada scored against Croatia, unfortunately lost, but Dejan Buchanan, I remember Brian and I were arguing about which Canada player do I want. I said Jonathan David, he said Dejan Buchanan, but we can't go for him because he's at Inter. So sorry, Brian, give me Jonathan David. Like, couldn't care, Brian. Sorry, mate, but I know he's in the background.
Say congratulations to Austria for winning the Eurovision last night.
No, I don't watch that rubbish. It's not my interest. Sorry, pal. Shit. I'd rather want Tottenham win the Europa League than that. But anyway, people, yeah, I'm going 3-0. I'm sticking with it. And I heard, what was his name? Jock said he saw us win 4-0. Solanke got all four, yeah? Did he?
Yeah,
Solanke scored all 4 goals.
Exactly.
Well, he scored in the 3-0 win and in the 4-3 win, I believe. So, yeah, so the goal scorers, I know my brother's not playing, so, but he'll probably still watch it in the stadium because look what Son did. He went to the game at Bodo Glint and he was watching it, so he came. But yeah, like as I said, I don't want Ange to do what Poch did, starting a ninja player wasn't 100%. But yeah, like bring him off the bench and maybe he'll come off and score a winner. So, but obviously you need your captain and yeah, lifting that trophy and Arsenal watching Emmerdale, Tottenham in Bilbao, and Man United are going to get their asses whooped because lads, I forgot to say it's not Sims, it's Symes.
Symes?
You what?
Ben Symes. Ben Symes.
Ben Symes? Oh, what? Oh, you mean your the guy, your helper?
Oh,
yeah,
it's Ben Sims, mate. It's Ben Sims.
Symes. It's Ben Symes, mate. Because he's a big United fan and he's gonna watch it. And
well, we're gonna call him Ben Sims. It makes this funnier.
Yeah, go on, call him Ben Sims, fella. Like we're planning to miss out.
Where is he? Where's Ben Sims?
He's finished today, man. He's in tomorrow, and
big up to Ben Sims. Big up to him. Great name.
I keep winding him up about Dan Burn because I've got in my ultimate team, Dan Burn. So he won't hear the last of it if he scores today. But yeah, 3-0 Wednesday, and there's going to be a parade. I heard someone saw on Twitter that a Tottenham fan got an email saying there'll be a.
Are you coming to the parade, Carl?
Where is it again? Can someone send me the?
It's on Tottenham High Road, mate.
Is it like because it's going to be at the school and then 5 p.m. will be outside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
Yeah.
Is it? So all right, because you posted on Twitter before the Champions League final 6 years ago, and you said you'd be at the parade. Well, that didn't work out. This one, it better work out, boys, because if we lose, then I blame you two. So we better win this, and we can't lose 2 consecutive finals in Spain because no team has ever lost that. I don't know if anyone was. Like, we can't lose, man. We were robbed in Madrid, and we're not going to be losing in Bilbao because this is our time, and yeah, we're going to do it. Oh, what?
What?
Oh, I just saw Brian in the background.
Spoilers,
3-0.
Kyle. Spoilers.
There you go. Yeah, so everyone, I say, well, now that Kulu's out, so it can't be him. And I'm going Son, Solanke, and Richie, because Richie does score against United, but he hasn't done it with Tottenham, only with Everton. So if he can do it on Wednesday, if this is to be his last game, then what a way to sign off than scoring in the final. Because you two won a Europa League with Tottenham on FIFA 22.
We did. We did.
And
Ben
you beat
Simeone.
Chelsea, and you know, scored a winning goal. It was Emma Go. So, yeah, let's do this. 3-0 again, and I'm sticking 3-0. And the players I said, Brennan, Solanke, and Richie. So, yeah.
Big up,
Stick with
Carl.
them.
Nice
Big
to
up.
have you, KPV. We'll speak to you next time.
Brian, get your ass on here, mate. Daigle in. Later.
Daigle in. Get your ass on here, Brian. Here he is. Get your ass on here.
Listen, before we do anything, I have to say, I think I've been coming on your show now, on this wonderful channel for about 4 or 5 years now. Hands down, without doubt, that was the best bit of content I've ever seen. That, honestly, that fan cam there was just, honest. The twists and turns, where it was going, mate, unbelievable.
Where's it going to stop? Nobody knows.
So that was just brilliant. And Ben, I will say, first of all, thank you for pimping my house out like an Airbnb. I'm delighted KPV spoken to his boss. But yeah, let's have some fun. It's I didn't even know you guys were live until I just messaged Ben something. But how are you boys?
Yeah, all good. I mean, my nerves are starting to creep in now, and I'm getting really nervous for the day on Wednesday. I mean, how are you coping with it? Or is it started to set in for you yet?
Do you know what? I don't think the nerves have started to set in. They will creep in. But Sim was very quickly to message in our little group, the second Glasner won the FA Cup, because we had a chat Friday night on your way home. And I said, if Crystal Palace win the cup, I'm going to start properly believing that maybe it's written in the stars. And literally, the final whistle had just blown, and Sim's on the message going, Brian, what's written is written. So maybe it is. Maybe
so do you believe?
It's all coming together. I've always believed. I've always believed that we could get the job done. I tried to look at it more on the balance, and I've been suckered in so many times. I've been, yep, we're doing it, and then it not happen. But no, I'm believing. I am believing.
It, Brian. Don't just believe. Manifest it.
Okay, I'll make sure. I'll pray to every single god. I'll do. You know Eddie Murphy in Coming to America when he goes and he says yes, and the stage. I'll start bellowing out from my balcony. Spurs are winning the Europa League, and see what the neighbourhood have to say. But we'll do whatever it takes.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just going to be such a crazy day on Wednesday. I mean, how early are you going to be getting to the Scotland Yard that day?
Well, mate, I'm going to be a bit on crowd control because, mate, listen, when we did it for the Champions League, it was all reservations, but then we did bits standing room only, and the Scotland Yard opens at midday. By 10 o'clock, the queue to try and get in went right down the road.
Wow.
Like literally down the main road that the Scotland Yard's on.
What, 2 hours before it opened?
2 hours before it opened, because it was standing room only, first come, first serve.
Right.
So they want to get in. It's going to be crazy, but they're opening it up from 12. What they're doing as well is all the reservations. They're bringing it. They've given like time allocations to get there, so the bartenders are going to get slammed, aren't they? So they want to make sure everyone sits down, all gets worked out. But it's going to be massive. They cancelled every single booking that they had from opening till closing, so it's literally Spurs only for the whole day. It's gonna once we win, it's gonna be a long night.
Any Europa League final specials going on at the Yard?
I'm not too sure, but we normally do. There's normally loads of stuff going on. There'll be loads of drink offers, which obviously mean nothing to me, but we have loads of giveaways that we do. We also do a thing called 50-50, where it's raffle tickets, but Toronto Spurs have aligned with a charity, a football charity here in Toronto, which give people from poor communities the chance to go play football for free.
Oh, lovely.
And we do a lot of work with them. So we do these raffles at 50-50, where 50% goes to them, 50% goes to the person, and normally the person that wins it just gives the other 50% straight to the charity. So hopefully we'll do a lot of stuff for the Regent Park football community. So yeah, there'll be loads of stuff going on. I can't wait.
Yeah. I know you like your kind of omens and look into, this one's won this thing in that year, and that means this, this, and history repeating itself and everything. Well, the last time that Man City didn't win anything in a season, Manchester United won the Europa League. However, Romero's won all the finals he's been in. Casemiro's won all the finals he's been in. You're looking at around who's won the trophies this year. Everyone's broken their kind of trophy duck, whether it be Palace, Newcastle. Which way is it going? Like how?
Well, you could add Harry Kane to that.
Harry Kane as well, yeah.
You look at you go on those stats. Another one on the Man U side. I told you about it. That I can't get out of my head is that when Manchester United last won the Europa League, they sacked an FA Cup winning Dutchman in Ten Hag, in Van Gaal, and hired Jose Mourinho. And then this year, they've sacked a Dutch winning FA Cup manager in Ten Hag and hired a Portuguese. It's these stupid stats that you're like, oh, for God's sake, why? But no, I mean, if you look at it, like you said, the only thing that scares me really with Manchester United is that they have a lot of serial winners in their team that have won. No matter how good or bad they are, they have won loads and loads of trophies. And when the big games come, they somehow get it. But if it is player for player and the best team wins, I think we have the better team.
What percentage would you put on chances of Tottenham winning?
I'll go 65-35.
65-35.
65-35.
So pretty confident.
But I'll probably be at 100% by Wednesday. By 100% Tottenham. But yeah, I think at the moment 65-35.
And how would you like to see Spurs approach the game? Because we've had different kind of success in multiple ways against Manchester United this season, but our best performances this season have been, being a bit more reserved and hitting them on the counter attack. Is that the way you want to see us play it?
Sim, Ben and Sim, I want to see it. Sim, you were there. Me and Ben were meeting Martin Yole. The way we performed at Frankfurt was absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I don't care how pretty we play to win it. It's about winning it. So I would much rather play a more pragmatic, disciplined approach, get that goal, offer nothing. Oh, also, before I forget, with Scotland Yard, I've got a funny story to say about Scotland Yard. I'm going to tell you guys. There's a guy that came on your show a couple of times. His name's Ashraf. Mm-hmm. Well, do you remember? He came on a couple of times. He lives in Canada, but he lives in Vancouver. He actually messaged me to say he's flying to Toronto to come and watch the game with me at the Scotland Yard. He's actually, because he doesn't know anyone, he's actually flown over. He's here in Toronto now. He's going to be at the Scotland Yard to watch the game. So when I keep saying to people, it's amazing what this channel does and how it unites people. Like, people have come to the Yard, or people, not just me, but people have come to the Yard because they've heard me talking about it. It's just amazing how much this channel does around the world for putting people together. It's absolutely incredible. It's just stories like that, which is what football's all about. So fair play to you guys. But yeah, getting back to the game, definitely the pragmatic style. We just look. It may not be the prettiest, but we don't look like we're going to get carved open.
Yeah.
I think that Frankfurt game. Obviously, you were there, Sim, and you heard the atmosphere was going to be the biggest test for us and everything like that. We were outstanding. It may not have been the best footballing performance, as in the Ange ball, ticking a wonderful Poch kind of football, but we got the job done, and it was a phenomenal team performance. Outstanding from every single player. And if we play like that, put it this way, if I knew we were going to play like that, like we knew that was our style, I would be 100% Spurs win. 100%.
And
because I think we look brilliant there.
And who for you starts in the midfield? We know Bentang or Bissouma, but who takes that third spot?
It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. What have you been asking this to people beforehand?
Yeah, we've kind of all fallen on Solanke, I think. Solanke and Ritchie. Solanke to be a bit further up with Ritchie.
Well, that's what we say with Solanke. But could that not revert to kind of like more like a 4-4-2, like out on the ball?
Yeah, kind of.
They could go up. So I look at that more as a four, not even as a. I know it will be a 4-3-3, but I won't look at it that way. But yeah, I agreed with you on Friday, and I said I'd like to see that, so I'll stick with it.
And it's been such a season so full of pain this season, but to end it with a trophy, in terms of just like as a Tottenham fan in general, like how many years it's been and how many years it's been without a European trophy. What can you put into words? Do you think what it would mean to you to be seeing Tottenham lifting a trophy on Wednesday?
Mate, it's all we ever want. I mean, the I don't even think words put it. I think the easiest way I could say it is we all saw the thousands and thousands of different videos from Crystal Palace yesterday.
Yeah.
Whether it be fans at Wembley, there's a wicked, brilliant one on Twitter where someone a stranger took a video in front of his son and his father and a son hugging, and he didn't even know him, and they exchanged. It's things like that. I tweeted one that I saw today where there was a father and son. They're both fairly old, like our dad's age, and they're. And it's like you look at that and you just see them hugging, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. It's just unrivaled joy and emotion. And obviously, after 16 or could be 17 if we don't, but 16 long years, I don't think you can put it into words. I think we'll see. Please God, we win Wednesday. I think we'll see videos from obviously you guys in Bilbao and all the great people there. People at home, you'll see it in the pubs at home, people watching it with family, people in pubs around the world. That's what it's going to mean. That's what it's going to mean. When you get that final whistle and you know it's done, I think what images will speak a million words.
Who's the first person you're going to look to hug after if we win the trophy?
Well, mate, I've got to be careful. I've got to make sure I'm standing upright to make sure the onslaught don't come in. Probably Bobby K.
Bobby K.
The
lucky man.
Bobby K will be there.
You got to be wearing a Kane-esque mask going into the Scotland Yard, surely.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there, mate. I see what you did there. Well, people are saying they might get me a hockey goalkeeper thing, so who knows? I might be in a maple leaf hat. Who knows? But yeah, Cody's going to be there as well, so who knows? It's just going to be just grab the first person you can and hug them to death. It's just going to be an incredible. It'll be a lifetime memory.
Brian, if we do go and win the trophy on Wednesday night,
yep.
Will there be a big rendition led by you of I'm Loving Big Ange instead?
Not a chance in hell.
Why not, man? Even like we've had a similar opinion between Ange. Like if he wins a trophy, surely we got to sing it.
No, I'll be singing Glory, Glory, Tottenham Hotspur.
One last time, man. One last time.
I will be singing Glory, Glory, Tottenham Hotspur. My eyes have seen the glory, and all the Spurs songs, because Spurs have won a trophy. Ange may have led them to it, but this is like I said. I won't go back on what I've said. For me, I'm
not saying all of a sudden you'll be Ange in.
Oh no! But I'm saying right now, if Spurs win that trophy, it'll be Look, you saw Everton just close their stadium. The thing they ended with was a roundup of all the old glorious songs that have gone through their illustrious history. Those are the songs I'll be singing.
Along with songs for the players,
Yeah, for sure.
but not the manager.
You see where you're going, Ben. Stop.
You don't want to give
Stop.
Ange any credit for winning it.
Oh, no, listen, mate. I will give him credit. I will give him a lot of credit
For no
for
song.
getting the job done. Ben asked, would I be singing a song? And that's not, put it this way, that won't be the first song or 10 that will come into my mind.
What about 15th?
Oh, God, here we go. You know when Sim said to KPV, yeah, put him in his place. Sim, put Ben in his place for me. Put Ben in his place.
If you sing I'm Loving Big Ange instead, I'll do it.
To be revealed. To be revealed.
Brian, what's your score prediction?
2-1.
2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. And I've got a feeling it's going to be a goal at the death.
Oh, if it is,
Goal at the
if it is, who do you reckon gets that goal?
Do you know what, mate? I wouldn't be surprised if it's Brennan Johnson.
Yeah.
Brennan Johnson at the back post.
Can you imagine if it's Sonny?
Oh, mate.
Will that not
Could
be
you-
like the most wholesome thing ever to happen in football?
That would be, if there could be an ideal goal scorer, and you look at it, you want to say for all these stats, he got the first goal at the new stadium.
Yeah.
He got the first European goal at the new stadium. Could he be the goal that ends Spurs' trophy drought? It'd be written in the stars.
I really hope it's him, man. Because all the
Well, the
flack
thing
he's
is-
taken all season as well.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, let me change. Joe, what? I'm going to manifest that as well. I'm going with you, Sonny. Sonny.
Love that. If it is him, I'm going to go. Well, I'll go absolutely mad.
Well, if it's anyone.
Yeah. But if it's Sonny, I'll go especially as mad, even madder than I
mate.
probably would have gone. But
Big time.
Brian, a pleasure having you on as always.
Always.
Let's
Guys,
hope-
have a
let's just
safe
hope
flight.
they
Have
bring
a
it home,
safe
man.
flight to Bilbao. Have a great time. I hope the hangovers aren't too bad. And Ben, I look forward to my call in Bilbao like always. And I will speak to you guys on the other side.
Absolutely will, my friend.
Some Brian.
Peace out, everyone. See you
Take care,
later.
Brian.
Bye-bye.
And I think that is that for today. That is the match previews done for the Europa League final. We'll see you out there, guys.
This is everything. That's the one word everyone said when I asked them, what does it mean to you? Everything.
This is everything. This is literally everything, people. So get hyped for it. Don't let the nerves get you down too much, like I've been doing. And
Look
let's
forward
just-
to it.
We're gonna do the
Enjoy
job,
it.
guys. We're gonna do the job. We're gonna do the job. Just manifest it. Just keep saying to yourself, "We're gonna do the job. We're gonna do the job." And we'll see you out there in Bilbao for those that are going.
If you say it enough times, you might start to believe it.
Exactly. But like, subscribe, and comment, people. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs!